Hey everybody, happy election night. And we're live. I think I'm going to do a little bit of adjusting here because we're live, and very excited because I already have some good news that holds, and maybe I should just hold off on it because of the way things are going. But um, yeah, and as you can see right now, you're saying, "What's he doing?" Well, ta-da! I changed the background, so behind my head it says election night, and it's got a check mark. Boom. Okay. So there, to underscore the fact that it is election night. And yeah, so right now it's 11:26 in the East, but focus of a lot of what we do has been out west, where in we're focused on the mayoral recall. And so we're going to go right now, right to, and I'm going to share this in the screen, the election results, because they already come in. It's 8:27. The first batch of election results came in at 8:15, excuse me, which not too long ago. And I'll go here, and I'll first point at, you would say, Brian Azevedo is a Zenny 62 Media client. Right now, he is ahead of his challenger, Ed Hernandez, in a very bruising race. A lot of nasty attacks by Ed Hernandez, who was Brian Azevedo's predecessor before Brian beat him in 2020. Right now, Azevedo's ahead 3,005 votes to 260. Brian has 52.12% of the vote. Ed Hernandez has 47.88. And right now it says 0.45% precedes reporting. So that's where we are right there. And it's a close race. Brian's ahead, though, a lot more healthily than I thought at first. So we're going to keep an eye on that one, since Brian is one of our great clients. We've had 4 of them this year. And then we're going to go right to the mayoral recall, which we have no client in, just, interest. And right now, with 108% reporting, as you can see, it's 64% yes, 35.78% no. And if this persists, and we have no reason to believe it will not, Mayor Tao will be recalled. And that's where it's heading. If we go to the at-large, where Charlene Wang was one of our clients, Rowena Brown is ahead of Lerone Armstrong. This is interesting. Remember, this is ranked choice voting, okay? So we have Rowena Brown at 30.67%. Lerone Armstrong, this is with zero 108% reporting, okay? Lerone Armstrong, 10,393 votes. And this is, and then his percentage is 29.30. And then Charlene Wang, our client, 7,137 votes. She's within striking distance. That's 20.12%. And then we have the rest, with the percentages really drop down from there. Sean Danino at 4.68%. Kanita Maturi, who we interviewed, at 3.81%. Christina Tino Tostado at 3.63%. Mindy Ruth Pritchuk at 3.48%. Nancy Sidebottom, our perennial friend, 1.97%. Fabian Robinson, another great guy we've interviewed here, and a great friend, is 1.68%. And Salika Thomas, remember I interviewed almost 2 years ago now, when she was the first to announce she was running up, well, a year and a half ago. She is at 6.65%. So it's going to be interesting to see how this changes. But you would say, why is Rowena Brown ahead of Lerone Armstrong? Why is Rowena Brown ahead of Lerone Armstrong? And the answer is that Rowena Brown is the recipient of placement on the marquee at the Grand Lake Theater. That's right, where it says, vote for Rowena Brown for Oakland City Council at large. And the Grand Lake is at the corner of Grand and Lake Park. That's high visibility, high traffic. You come off 580, you're going home, and in Oakland, you'll see the Grand Lake. That's the first thing you see, that marquee. And her name's on it. And that's huge. You can't discount that. So that literally catapulted her over Lerone just by a little bit. But then the question becomes, in ranked choice voting, where is Marina going to show up at the bottom? If she shows up, as I think, the number 2 or 3, because of that marquee position, she will be the at-large candidate winning, and not Lerone Armstrong, which would be a gigantic upset of gargantuan proportions, considering what Lerone went through, his early push, the media exposure he's gotten, everything else. Charlene Wang is in third place because of, well, frankly speaking, the Zenny 62 media effort. I can give our organization credit for that. And I'm really proud of what we've done to help her get to being one of the top 3. And basically she's got a chance. So very exciting for Charlene, very exciting for Zenny 62 media. Let's see how this comes out. Now we've got, but of course that's not the only race, right? So we've got District 1, Zach Unger is ahead of my friend, and also was helping him. So I'll say client Leonard Raphael. I've known Leonard a long time, so I was happy to give him some assistance in the later stage of the campaign, with a couple of edits he wanted with videos and all that. Nothing major, but as expected, Zach Unger is clean as clock, 77.17% right now. 0 of 16 precincts reporting in District 1. Edward C. Frank is got half of what Lynn has. So I think it's fair to call it for Zach really early, right there. Right there. Now, District 3 is the one that's really important. Carol Fife is ahead of Warren Logan. She's got 46.35%. He has 34.17%. So it really is a 2-person race at this point. The question becomes which person picks up the most of the votes between Carol and Warren Logan. And right now, she has a lead of roughly about 500 votes. But when you consider the number of votes right now in this first round and how they may be distributed, at the end of the day, this just might be Carol that wins, unless between Baba, Michelle, Murren, and Shan, they all give enough votes to her, to Warren, to overcome that gap. That could happen. We'll just have to see. But again, this is 0 of 14 precincts reporting. I believe these are absentee ballots are being counted first, which is how you explain that, right? So there's a long way to go. The night is young. District 5, Noel Guile is right now substantially ahead of Aaron Armstrong, 1,645 votes to 819 for her. Dominique Prado comes up third. Aaron is not pulling enough votes for there to be an expected ranked choice challenge, but we'll just have to see how this plays out. I expect Noel to win this one effectively. And we have this other one, interesting. Ken Houston is ahead of Iris Murrens, both friends of mine. Ken has 1,000 votes right now. Iris has 969 votes. Marcy Hodge, who was on our show, with 546 votes, and Marika Goolsby, who was on our show, 487 votes. So the question is, which one of them between Iris and Ken can pick up the most of the other? And effectively, this is a 33.1% of the vote capture for Ken versus 32.28%. This is effectively even right now. This is going to be really fascinating, folks. But I'm going to bet that Iris picks up Marcy and Marika's votes and wins this one. But let's see how this comes out. And then, of course, there's the hotly contested Oakland City Attorney race, where Ryan Richardson is ahead of Brenda Harbin Fort, 19,752 votes. There's and that's a 58.09% percentage. And Brenda Harbin Ford has 41.91. And so let's see what happens when ranked choice voting, which does apply here even with two people. Let's see what happens when we start looking at the vote trade. Right now, Ryan has a healthy lead. Brenda started a little late. And so I had a feeling that would happen. But we'll just have to see how this plays out. Then we have school director for District 1. Rachel Latta is way ahead of Benjamin Salop. That's no contest there. District 3, Van Cedric Williams is getting a bit of a challenge from Dwayne Akins, but I expect Van Cedric will prevail and he'll return to his seat in the Oakland Unified School District. And we have Patrice Berry versus Sasha Rizal Hernandez, very close race. 1480 votes versus 1217. And let's see how that plays out as well. And so, as I was saying, again, we have other races in Piedmont, Pleasanton, San Leandro, Union City. We have districts, we have measures, quite a bit. For City of Oakland, we have what is this? Measure NN, right. Measure NN is on its way to passing. It needs a simple majority to vote. But again, this is 0 of 108 precincts reporting. So let's just see where this goes out. All right. And then, of course, we have Measure OO. And that's about the same. It looks like it's on its way to passing. We'll just have to see, where that goes out, where that comes in. Now, what's fascinating about this is that, and why you would say this is in this position, is simply that it's a measure in and deals with, it's a public safety proposal, which basically says if the city budget fails to maintain 700 officers, then they'll reduce the parcel tax. In other words, shall the measure fund citywide violence to one, fund citywide violence reduction services such as 9/11, community policing, to increase police and fire minimum staffing, and by extending, increasing both the existing parking tax surcharge to 10%, the existing parcel tax $198, and other parcels be adopted. And basically, right now, the answer is yes, which is surprisingly all considering the number of people who complain about economic hardship. So we'll see where that one, see if that actually holds, right? And then we have Measure OO in Oakland, and Measure OO Oakland has to do with, well, you guess it. It really is to strengthen the Public Ethics Commission, and it gives new powers to the understaffed Public Ethics Commission that needs those new powers. And right now, it's ahead too. So let's see how this plays out. I don't expect that to change much, if at all. And then, of course, now we have the United States, and where Trump is at, well, he needs 227 to win. He's at 270 to win, excuse me, folks. He's at 227 now. CNN is giving him battleground state of North Carolina. Our favorite, our choice, Kamala Harris, is at 153 in terms of electoral votes. So not a happy camper here right at this point, but the night is still going on. Arizona is, with its 11 electoral votes, we would love to see Kamala gain. It hasn't been announced. Connecticut, Trump is ahead. That hasn't been called yet. That's got a long number of votes to go. Georgia is Trump's at 50.9. She is at 48.2. That's not looking the way I'd like it to look. And then Maine, where Harris is ahead. That's 4 electoral votes. You'd like for it to be 40. But and there's a lot of votes even then to go. So I'm going to turn that up a little bit so we can hear that.
This was the most probable pickup for Kamala Harris,
hey,
if that was the world in which we were living. That is why Donald Trump went down there multiple times in the last 24, 48 hours of the campaign. And it clearly did not happen for Kamala Harris. And Trump, he's telling his people, I'm told, and just like we heard from Caitlin, that this is something that portends well for the future. We don't know what it means for the other states, but what we do know is it's even more evidence that that blue wall is the path for Kamala Harris.
And that path is just more and more narrow, I think we're seeing as the night goes on. But also, so many people thought that perhaps this would be an election that in turn would be closer to.
Folks, I have an announcement here, and this has to do with the Recall Pamela Price effort. Right now, 0 of 570 precincts reporting. The yes side is at 64.68%, and the no side is at 35.32%. But again, that's with 0 of 570 precincts reporting. So this, I believe, is, if I know the county as well as I believe, I don't expect this to change. And right now, we have a situation where it looks like both Oakland Mayor Shang Tao and Alameda County District Attorney Pamela Price will both be recalled. Frankly, no surprise there, but it's also unfortunate to report people going to lose their jobs that way. But well, a lot of mistakes were made, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Okay.
Last time, 4 years ago, and told maybe a week after the election, or it was certainly after Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania came on Saturday. I think North Carolina was Sunday or Monday. The fact that we are making this call now suggests that there's a bigger gap than there was last time. And Donald Trump won it last time by something like 75,000 votes.
Generally speaking, he is overperforming what he did in 2020, and she is underperforming what Joe Biden did in 2020, and that ends up with it was a narrow edge for Biden. Is at this point, as we have to condition it, a narrow defeat for Harris.
And the thing about North Carolina, and John has been talking about this, and we'll do more at the wall, is you do have kind of a sense of the country in the state of North Carolina, in that there are growing minority populations, and there is a growing sort of suburban, maybe more moderate population in and around the big cities. And so that is why the Harris campaign thought, with the dynamics of the country right now, that she would have a better shot. But look, the headwinds of the economy, the inflation that people are feeling, the difficulty in their everyday lives.
Yeah, she could not outrun that
couldn't.
Biden economy.
Yeah, and the economy, Chris, that is what people are feeling every single day. I mean, we were talking earlier about whether or not the sort of women and the idea of this being the first post-Roe presidential campaign was going to supersede how people felt when they were buying eggs and milk. And certainly North Carolina and other places that we are seeing start to formulate in these other states, the answer is no.
You know, we have talked about it all night. We've disagreed to a certain degree about the right track, wrong track, and it was.
Oh, by the way, folks, another announcement. The California Assembly District 26 race, Patrick Ahrens versus Tara Shriek-Rishanen, who's another Zenny 62 Media client, has not reported any votes from any precincts right at this point as of 8:45 p.m. out in the west and 11:45 p.m. in the east. So right now, 0%, 0%. Go Tara, go Tara, go Tara. All right. So back to everything else.
The Trump campaign had in increasing their share of the mail vote. They worked really hard at that.
Yeah, very interesting. Let's bring you a key race alert and get you up to speed on where we are in all the states that we have not called. In battleground Pennsylvania, Donald Trump with 51.3%, Kamala Harris 47.6%. Donald Trump more than 212,000 votes ahead, with 82% of the estimated vote in from the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. In battleground Michigan, Donald Trump in the lead, 51.2%. Kamala Harris at 47%. Donald Trump at 98,014 votes ahead.
But 41%.
41% of the estimated vote in from Michigan.
Not a lot.
Battleground Wisconsin, Donald Trump in the lead, 50.7% to Harris's 47.7%. Donald Trump with a 68,000 plus vote lead over Harris, with 71% of the estimated vote in from the Badger State. In Battleground Georgia, Donald Trump up 50.8% to Harris's 48.3%. Donald Trump with 128,582 more votes than Kamala Harris, with 92% of the estimated vote counted in the state of Georgia. In the state of Arizona, another battleground, Donald Trump in the lead there, 49.8% to Harris's 49.3%. Donald Trump with a 7,588 vote lead over Kamala Harris. That's with more than half, 52% of the estimated vote in. In Nevada, Donald Trump in the lead, 73%. Kamala Harris with 26.2%. Donald Trump with a 10,985 vote lead over Harris. That's with only 2% of the vote in from from Nevada, only 2%. Boris Sanchez now has some new projections in the fight for control of the U.S. Senate. Jake, a major moment for Republicans. They have just flipped, they are expected to flip their second Democratic seat of the night. This one coming in Ohio. There, Republican Bernie Moreno defeating incumbent Democrat Sherrod Brown.
Whoa.
Moreno, the owner of some luxury car dealerships, who
Wow.
invested early in blockchain technology, fought to attach Brown to the Biden administration more broadly, specifically on issues like immigration. Sherrod Brown, a populist who had survived some difficult tests in his state before, cannot overcome the political headwinds he is facing. Donald Trump has now won Ohio 3 elections in a row, and it's simply too much for the incumbent Democrat to overcome. So we are projecting that Bernie Moreno is your new junior senator from the Buckeye State. Meantime, 4 Democratic polls. The first one, a historic one in New Jersey. There, Congressman Andy Kim is set to become the first Korean American ever to serve in the U.S. Senate. He defeats real estate tycoon Curtis Vashon. Meantime, in Virginia, there, incumbent Democratic Senator Tim Kaine, a former vice presidential candidate, is projected to defeat Hung Kao, a former Navy captain. Another Democratic will tell you about this one. Martin Heinrich, the incumbent senator there, seeking his 3rd term. He defeats Nella Dominici, whose father was the last Republican senator elected in New Mexico some 20 years ago. Another Democratic poll to project for you. This one coming in the state of Washington. There, Democratic incumbent Senator Maria Cannonball wins her 5th term.
Fifth term.
Our doctor. Now, what does that pickup in Ohio mean?
Oh, hey, folks. Ben Bartlett, friend of the company, is ahead in his race for re-election, 55.36% versus Deborah Matthews at 26.49% and John Chip Moore at 18.15%. Looks like it's just 0.4% reporting, but Ben has got the endorsement of every single Berkeley City Council member. He should sail right back in. Congratulations, Ben. So there we go. Yeah.
Democratic incumbent Senator Tammy Baldwin, who's seeking her 3rd term in office, 70% of the vote. And we just got an update. The lead pretty much the same in Wisconsin for Hubby. And Pennsylvania, this has been going back and forth all night. But right now, the former CEO of one of the largest hedge funds in the world, Dave McCormick, currently leads incumbent Democratic Senator Bob Casey by about 120,000 votes. Still a very close race. This one also a very expensive one. 81% of the vote in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Now, a key race alert from the state of Michigan. This one has been close all night as well. Former Republican Congressman Mike Rogers currently leading current Democratic Congresswoman Alyssa Slotkin, 48,000 votes. Rogers ahead of Slotkin, 40% of the vote in the Wolverine state. So let's take a look at the balance of power in the U.S. Senate, the raw numbers. What does this mean? Democrats hold 40 seats. Republicans, with those 2 pickups, hold 49, 11 seats remaining to be determined. Jake, obviously you need 51 for control of the chamber.
All right, Boris, thanks so much. And CNN can make a projection. CNN projects.
Yay, she got Harris.
Kamala
Harris gets Washington. Yay.
It's 12 electoral votes to the Democrat Vice President Kamala Harris. Let's look at the electoral map right now. Donald Trump
165.
has
Creeping up on him. Creeping
Kamala
up.
Harris has 165 electoral votes. 270 are needed to win. We are waiting for more votes in the big 3 blue wall battlegrounds of Pennsylvania and Michigan and Wisconsin that both campaigns are watching very closely right now. A total of 6 top battlegrounds remain undecided as we get later into this election night.
Stay right here for the next big rollout of votes. Right now, we're going to squeeze in a quick break. Stay with us.
Hey, folks, welcome to election night, and just reporting on all that's happening. We also, I announced that right now, in all the races that we were focusing on with respect to Oakland and Alameda County, those votes are not being tabulated. They're at 0. I expect that will change in another, I would say maybe by 9:15. I expect that we have another update after the top of the hour. So just have to keep monitoring it and see that happens. But so far, if everything holds, it'll be a great night for Zenny 62 Media clients. Fingers crossed. And maybe one day we'll get one of those national elections. You know what I mean? And get involved in that. Do great jobs on a national level. Wouldn't that be huge? That'd be a gigantic contract. Anyway, where we are right now is going back to see, in terms of the updates, if there's been any vote update. The last one was at 8:15 Pacific Standard Time. Right now it is, still no update. Bing, still no update. As a bedtime reminder. Okay, still no update. Nationally, it's a rather pockmarked picture for us Democrats. Are you a Democrat? And hey, welcome, by the way, everybody. Hey, give a thumbs up too, like that. You know what I mean? And on this election night. And do you think I should do this with this background or just kind of without the background? Because I know that if I move my hands, it looks like my hands disappear, right? Like I'm a ghost. Look at that. Ooh. It's kind of weird, huh? Maybe have something more lively in the background that shows election results and numbers. Let me see if I can find something that replaces this effectively. If at all possible to do. I mean, it would be nice, wouldn't it, to have something like that? I'll have to research that. What I may do, however, is I might get a boom. I've got a brilliant idea, I believe. I believe it's a brilliant idea. But I would have to go and find it. So, because I really do want to try a little experiment here as I think about it. Welcome, everybody, on election night. Welcome. I'll be right back. I'm going to see if I can find this device that I want to hook up here. I love to experiment on a fly and do that. Okay, I'll be right back, folks. So when it says election night, I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Okay. All right. I'll be right back. Okay. Oh, sorry about that.
Their news from CNN than any other news source.
And CNN has another projection for you. CNN projects that Donald Trump will win 3 out of the 5 electoral votes from the state of Nebraska.
Donald Trump splits
Nebraska. Allow me a second to explain. Nebraska and Maine allocate their electoral votes partly in addition to the statewide 3 votes according to congressional district. That's already too complicated, probably. Anyway, put it this way. Donald Trump has won 3 out of the 5 electoral votes. The other 2 we do not know yet, but Donald Trump has 3 of the 5. That means 3 more electoral votes for Donald Trump. And what does that mean for the electoral map? Donald Trump has 230 electoral votes. He is 40 electoral votes away from winning. Kamala Harris has 165 electoral votes. She is 105 electoral votes away from winning. Let's see what the states that we have not called, where their vote counts are. Pennsylvania. Donald Trump is in the lead there with 51.2% of the vote. Kamala Harris has 47.7% of the vote. Donald Trump is ahead of her by more than 206,000 votes. That's with 83% of the estimated vote in. That's Pennsylvania. Battleground Michigan, Donald Trump up 51.3% of the vote. Kamala Harris has 46.9% of the vote. Donald Trump with a more than 111,000 vote lead with an estimated 44% of the vote in from Michigan. Wisconsin now, Donald Trump in the lead there too. 50.8% of the vote. Kamala Harris has 47.6% of the vote. Donald Trump almost 80,000 votes ahead of her, with 3/4 of the vote, 74% of the estimated vote from the Badger State in. Battleground Georgia, Donald Trump is up 50.7%. Kamala Harris is 48.4%. Donald Trump more than 118,000 votes ahead of her, with an estimated 93% of the estimated vote in. Arizona, Donald Trump is ahead there too, with 49.8% of the vote. Kamala Harris has 49.3% of the vote. He is more than 7,500 votes ahead of her right now, but they still have about 48% of the vote to count, 52% of the estimated vote in. In Nevada, Donald Trump is in the lead with 73% of the vote. Kamala Harris has 26.2% of the vote. Donald Trump has a more than 10,000 vote, almost 11,000 vote lead. That is with only 2% of the estimated vote in. As we follow these crucial undecided races, we are all already also getting closer to another poll closing. 4 more electoral votes are at stake in the next hour in the heat of the battle to reach 270. So every electoral vote counts. We're just minutes away from voting ending in the reliably blue state of Hawaii. Over to John King now at the Magic Wall. John.
So Jake, a quick look. You just went through the numbers. Just want to look very quickly. These 3 states, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, will determine the fate of the Harris campaign, whether there's any chance that she can come back. As we wait to see those results, I just want to show you something. Bring it up. Remember January 6th? Donald Trump was finished. Even Republicans were running away from Donald Trump. Donald Trump is done as a national politician. I want to show you something. This is Trump overperforming his 2020 performance by 3% or more, right? This is a statewide look. We're not done with some of these counts out here, so this will change a little bit. But Donald Trump overperforming 2020 after January 6, 2021. That's the statewide look. Look at this. Just look at this when you go to full counties. Look at how many counties across America, 994 of the 4,000 plus, 4,600 plus counties and townships, especially up this way, part of the country, they don't call them counties, they call them townships. But in nearly 1,000, 993 right now. This will change as we go through, but Donald Trump is overperforming. And look at where they are. He's mostly performing in red areas. His vote is getting higher in the areas where he wins elections. Yes, there are some blue places where he's overperforming, but just look at battleground Pennsylvania. Look at all these red counties, places that Trump wins, where he's overperforming by 3% or more what he did in 2020. Then you come out here, let's go up to battleground Michigan. These are the decisive states left on the board right now. Look at in the areas, those are his base areas. He's getting more. The same over here in battleground Wisconsin. So the former president of the United States, given up for dead, Jake, after January 6, 2021, is running stronger now than he did in the last campaign.
All right, John King, thank you so much. Every electoral vote counts, and 4 more are on the line right now as polling places are about to close in Hawaii, and we project Kamala Harris will win the state of Hawaii with its 4 electoral votes. Not a surprise. Hawaii, a reliably Democratic vote, but that does mean a pickup of 4 electoral votes for Kamala Harris. Donald Trump has 230. He is 40 votes away from winning. Kamala Harris has 169 electoral votes. She is 101 votes away from the 270 needed to win. John King.
So Jake, let's look at the map where we are right now, and then we'll go through some of these battleground states where we're still waiting. But just look at the map right now. You see a lot of red, right? So let's look at the 2020 map. You see the blue, right? The blue wall states, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, right? Now watch, this is where we are now. 2024 looks a lot different than 2020, but at the moment, looks pretty similar to 2016. Donald Trump won the blue wall. Donald Trump won North Carolina. Donald Trump won Georgia. Donald Trump won Arizona. The only difference would be Hillary Clinton in 2016 did carry Nevada. Donald Trump leads there right now when you come back to 2024. But it's just, sorry, 2024. Let me come up here and do this and hit this. And you go there in 2024. So that's the one, it's just a dramatic change when you come here. And so Donald Trump is remaking the map again at the moment. And the question is there any way for Harris to come back? Again, we've given Donald Trump North Carolina. So let's see where we are in Georgia. If Donald Trump also carries Georgia, the vice president cannot afford to lose Pennsylvania. Yes, Nevada's out there, Arizona's out there, Michigan and Wisconsin are out there. 19. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. So can she come back in Georgia to stop that from happening? So she's limiting her. If he wins Georgia, her path is so limited. So it's 118,000 votes right now in a state decided 4 years ago by 11,700 votes. Donald Trump with 93%. That's an important number of the vote counted is ahead by nearly 120,000 votes. So you're looking, this is where they would have to be. You can pick up votes elsewhere, but that's where most of the votes are. That's close to half of the state population, right in Atlanta, in the metropolitan area around it. So what's out there? Are there live outstanding votes out there? Well, let's take a look. The answer is yes. Let me get rid of the colors so you don't have to see that. The answer is yes, they're out there. You're at the point now where you're talking about drawing to an inside straight flush, essentially. You need these votes to come in overwhelming numbers for you. But you do see there's the mathematical possibility. This is why the Harris campaign is on the phone. This is why I assume Donald Trump has not come out yet to say anything, because he's hoping that this one comes off the board as well. You're looking at the math right there. It's possible. So we're waiting for more votes in Georgia. So then you come up, Jake, and we'll look at the blue wall states in a minute to see if any of the math is changing. But if you look at the map right now, you would so much rather be Donald Trump than the vice president.
All right, and we have a projection, John. CNN can project the Commonwealth
She got
the Commonwealth of Virginia.
She got Virginia.
Virginia with its 13 electoral votes will go to the Democrat Vice President Kamala Harris.
All right.
What does that mean for the electoral math? Let's take a look. With
She's
270 electoral votes needed to win,
182
40 behind that with 230
versus 230 for Trump.
182 electoral.
Still got some work to do. Here's another race alert.
All the states that we have not projected yet. Pennsylvania, Donald Trump in the lead, 51.3% of the vote. Kamala Harris, 47.6% of the vote. Donald Trump has a more than 213,000 vote lead over her with 84% of the estimated vote in from Pennsylvania. In battleground Michigan, Donald Trump up there, 51.2% of the vote. Kamala Harris is 47% of the vote. Donald Trump with a 107,290 vote lead over Harris. But there's still about 55% of the vote that has not been counted in Michigan. A lot of votes to count in Michigan. Wisconsin now, Donald Trump 51% of the vote. Kamala Harris 47.4%. Donald Trump with a more than 92,000 vote lead over Harris. That's with more than 3/4 of the votes counted in Wisconsin, 77% of the vote. In battleground Georgia, Donald Trump up 50.7% to Harris's 48.4%. Donald Trump with a 118,838 vote lead over Harris, with 93% of the estimated vote in. In battleground Arizona, Donald Trump up 49.8% to Harris's 49.3%. Donald Trump with a 9,600 plus vote lead. That's with slightly more than half of the vote counted in Arizona, 52%. In Nevada, Donald Trump up 73% to Harris's 26.2% of the vote. Donald Trump with an almost 11,000 vote lead. But that is, again, with only 2% of the estimated vote in Nevada counted. Still a lot of votes to count in Nevada. John?
So, Jake, let's look at right now. You're looking at the big map, and you're seeing all that red. Yes, Virginia, we just projected for the vice president. That one's blue. I'll take a closer look in a minute at that one. But you're looking at the blue wall states. Essentially, Harris's only path is to come back in these three states right there. I can give you a conceivable possibility where she only has to come back in two of them, but she has to come back in all three of them to have a reasonable path to 270 electoral votes. And it's a problem at the moment, 168,000 votes. I'm told more votes just recently came in Philadelphia, and indeed they did. So now you're up to 76% estimate. This can change a little bit as more votes come in. But you see that, the vice president opening a healthy lead in Philadelphia, which is a building block of a Democratic win in Pennsylvania. The question is it enough? I just showed you Trump was leading. So 78%, 477,000 votes. If you go back 4 years ago, it's 81%, and it's 603,000 votes. Remember that. 81 and 603. 78 and 477. Can she move both numbers up when we get the final quarter of the vote? That's the challenge, because you need that math,
Okay.
give me, to overcome that. 168,000
All right,
votes.
so
In
hey
a
folks,
state
we're
that was
back,
decided by
as you
80,000
can
votes
hear,
4 years ago, and 40,000 votes 4 years
and right
before
now it is
that is a big lead in a tight state like Pennsylvania with 85% of the vote. So you're saying, is it just Philadelphia and the
I'll shut up.
suburbs
Hold on a second.
where there are outstanding votes? Again, if you're joining us late, the larger the circle, the more votes that are still outstanding to be counted, the color, the way the candidate who's winning in that area at the moment. And so you still do right here, Philadelphia, Delaware County, Chester County, Montgomery County. There's still some math to be done there. A little bit out there in Allegheny County, where we talked to Brian Todd early in the night. A little bit up in Erie County, which is a swing county. Tends to be very close, though. So let's come back and look at this as we come through it. Number one, there are bellwether counties in Pennsylvania. Northampton is one of them, and Trump is winning with 52% of the vote right now. This county usually picks the winner in the state. As I say that, I'll say its twin is Erie, way over here, not twin geographically, it's twin in that they voted twice for Obama, then for Trump, then for Biden. Erie and Northampton, 2 of the 25 counties that did that. At the moment, the vice president is leading in Erie County. In the last campaign, it was Vigo County, Indiana. Their streak of picking the winner went off the board. We'll see if the 2 swing counties in Pennsylvania split as this election goes through. But if you're looking at this map right now, 85% of the vote, it's this. That's
He's
big.
talking about
If you're looking at
Trump,
50,000, 60,000, it's easier to do the math. You're looking at 168,000,
yeah,
the math
it's
gets hard.
large.
Is it impossible?
He's talking
No.
about Pennsylvania and
the question
the
is, when you
possibility of
start
their
coming
winning in
here,
Pennsylvania,
Chester
right?
County's at 81%.
And
Large suburban
he's saying
counties
that
where get 20 or 30% of the votes still out. You can do
Trump
some
is
big
at
math.
3,000,000.
Montgomery County at 68%.
20,079
This
votes.
is a much more populous
Harris,
county, so you're waiting for the
2,851,400
vice president
votes.
to have to win it gangbusters,
50.9
probably higher than the percentage she's getting
versus
so far,
48%.
against President Biden.
Uh,
It's a little
with
below President Biden, which seems pretty
what
consistent.
appears
when
to
you
be
go through some of these areas across
89%
these
of the
states.
precincts
Bucks
reported.
County is this one
Something
here. Yes, I'm in the right place.
less
That's
than that.
Montgomery.
Excuse me,
Bucks
we're
has
like
turned
80
red.
somewhere
That's why I
there.
couldn't find it. Because Bucks has turned red. Only 55% of the vote in. But if this is red at the end of the night, Donald Trump's going to win the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. This is the more blue collar, the more competitive.
He's saying that if
the three
Donald
collar
Trump
counties. It's Bucks,
wins
Delaware,
Bucks
and Montgomery. Used to be
he'll win
Mississauga
Pennsylvania.
Democratic, and the
Period.
others were
Now,
Republican. The education
he's saying
divide
that.
has flipped that one.
So for the moment, though, let's go back to the local race that we're following, because also we've been looking at the vote to recall both the Alameda County District Attorney Pamela Price and Oakland Mayor Sheng Tao. So let's start with the city of Oakland and see, well, first of all, what update there's been in the vote. The last time they had the vote was 8:15. And now, guess what, folks? Still no update. It is 9:07. And no update. I did say maybe it would be about 20 minutes, past the hour or something like that, right? But that's not happening. There hasn't been any updates there.
The 8% here. There's a little bit of vote out there, not much. Not hardly anything left there.
And let's see what the other,
Not
what's
much
going
left
on
there.
with
But his vote is mostly in. Trump's vote is mostly in when you look at the map. But the question is there really enough
race.
there? And let's see where they are
Assembly
here.
District 26.
94% in Allegheny
So
County.
where
So
we're
again,
at.
you're getting 59 to 39, 20-point
There are
gap.
no results.
20-point gap. So yeah, that's got to be a lot of votes to come in, and they say they're at 94%. So it's not impossible. I would say.
As of
starting to lean
9:02,
into
we
the
have
improbable. And
no
let's go over into Michigan. This is the
results.
state where the vice president was leading
Wow.
early on. Then Donald
So-
Trump took the lead. He takes the
All right.
lead sometimes in these states when all these.
I
rural
think what I'm
counties
going to
go
do
in.
is get rid of this back
And
in
again, you
here.
just find him, and he's at 67% here, and he's
But I
at
want to
65% here.
have,
He's at
carry it around.
66% plus there.
But this
Not a
is
lot
not actuating the way I want it to.
When you've got
Let's
83
see here.
counties, and you're winning 60 or 70 of them, that's how it works. And he builds it up there. And then the question is, can the Democrats overcome it with huge numbers where the people live? Number one, Wayne County, we're still only at 16%. So if you're in the Harris campaign, you're saying, okay, we have almost nothing or less than 20% from Detroit. Right, so she's getting 62%. She has 88,000 votes. And Jake, if you go back to 2020, again, when Donald Trump won Michigan, he's getting 68, and he gets close to 600,000 votes.
Okay.
So that's sort of our test.
Now we
Wayne
have
County gives us
a
more
change. We
votes.
have,
We get a huge number.
you notice
like
a little
that,
subtle
and it's
difference,
the
right?
Split, right?
We have a
Donald Trump
change.
at 30%.
and
That's Detroit and the
that
suburbs
means
around
we
it.
are on the
Donald
webcam. So
Trump
if I can
right
put
now,
this up
it's only
now,
20%.
right?
It's less than 20%.
I just
16%.
picked that up.
So,
Okay. So now we're
but
portable.
that- if he's
So here's what we can
even
do.
above 30, right?
So I
Anything he's
can
above
move
30
that around,
is
right?
an improvement for him.
Oh,
And
now it's off.
so
Rats.
we can't see it all on this
Okay, now I
map.
got to
We
go
have get
back
more
to
granular.
FaceTime.
But Detroit, is he doing better? Is Trump doing
AD?
better with the black vote? Or where is overall turnout? Maybe
let's
down
see
a little
here.
bit from 2020. That's a big question too. And then here you have
Let's
Hamtramck
see
and you
here
have
if we can
Dearborn. They're not on the map,
change
but
that.
they're right here. Those are two very important pockets of
Settings.
Arab American voters
Mhm.
that were 200,000 plus voted for Joe Biden 4 years ago. We don't know. We don't have that granular
FaceTime
detail just
camera,
yet.
yep.
But that was one of the big questions in the campaign. Spent a lot of time on my trips at Wayne State campus. Younger
Let's
voters, a lot of
do
Arab
this.
and Muslim students at Wayne State, a lot of young progressive
Be right
students at
back,
Wayne
folks.
State.
Hold on.
Did they lose the youth vote there? A lot of the questions.
Oh,
Now, I'm
I
raising
have to
questions
unplug
that
the
we'll answer
camera
in more
there.
detail tomorrow and next week and the week after that.
Stay on
We have final
page.
results,
Click
but
the
if you're
camera button to turn it back on.
158,000 votes ahead, only halfway in Michigan. I mean, I hate to
Okay,
say it,
see
but
that?
you're looking at this, and like that's the best
Yeah.
of the three blue wall states.
Let's go to Wayne County.
I have to
right
go
now.
back and
Let's
come
go to
on in,
Detroit.
back in.
Just spoke with the Secretary of State.
Okay, so
Jocelyn
now we're back.
Benson, and we believe we have
There's
the
that.
answer
All right.
here. Asked her
What I'm
quite
going to do is I'm
specifically,
going to take
and
the
she said the reason is that Wayne County, in part,
virtual
given all the
background off.
scrutiny on this county as it impacts the outcome of the election in this state,
And
is not
voila,
reporting
there
partial
we are.
results. It's waiting until
There's
it
the
has
actual one. You can see I
either
have my
all or the vast majority
cane,
of those results in
the real
before
me, right?
it,
Yeah.
in effect,
Hey,
gets
he's got
that
his cane,
back
yeah.
and makes it public. And I just want to
Hip
highlight
replacement
what's going
soon.
to happen in the next hour.
At any rate, welcome to the abode.
A nondescript,
The way that I usually do the live stream.
one of these doors behind me here with the
and
last remaining outstanding absentee
what do we
ballots
have here?
in Detroit, part of Wayne County.
See here?
About 4,000 we expect. That's the final batch, not just, we are told, of absentee ballots outstanding, but the final outstanding votes in Detroit, big part of Wayne County. So when that truck
Wow.
comes through the door, they begin to tabulate those. That gets us to the point where they're going to have,
I've
in
got
effect,
some
all the votes they need
photos
count,
to
and
show
get
you
that
from
point where they're going to be ready to report those
election
final
night
figures. We were told
or
it would be
election day. Hey,
but
Miss Sandy,
we'll be watching that report
in
back
San
when it happens.
Francisco.
That could be the
I'm
point when you
figuring out how to
the
get them
batch
from here, well,
reported publicly.
to
All
there.
right, Jim Sciutto in
So
Detroit,
bear with me
Wayne
for a
County.
second while I
And you were noting,
excuse me while
that
I
we don't
have some
Wayne
fun
County
here.
to the granular
I'm
level
not
that we
leaving, of
can't
course.
see Dearborn,
Airdrop.
and other places where
Airdrop.
there were a lot of
Airdrop.
uncommitted votes during the Democratic primary. But just to remind
One
our
airdrop.
viewers, during the
Break that
Democratic
out.
primaries as a protest
There.
of President Biden's support for
And then
the Netanyahu government of Israel and its
uh,
war on Hamas in Gaza,
and here's another
100,000
one.
Democrats voted uncommitted.
This is, you got to see this, folks.
Presumably, most of them as a protest vote against Biden for that.
This is,
Yes, absolutely. And most of them were located here in
if
Wayne
you're in
County.
San Francisco
Yeah.
on election day, this is what you got to do. I'm going to show you this in a
We also
second,
had
all right?
traffic in Dearborn, just the
This
north
is
and to the west. Large
cool
pockets of
bean
American
stuff,
communities
okay?
there.
Cool,
They're very angry at the
cool,
White
cool
House. And
bean
then
stuff.
the
If I
next
can
one, you come out here,
break
and
that
again,
one out.
you know,
Yeah.
this is Washington
There's
County,
that.
where I've been four
What else
times,
is there?
I think 4 times, maybe 5 times, no, 4, in this election to go to the University of
There's another
Michigan
one.
and talk to people out there. And again, you know, we're at 71% right
Hold
now,
on a
so the
second.
numbers can change, but she's at 66%. This is Ann Arbor, University of Michigan. Again,
You're
it's a
going to
big
love
college
this,
campus.
folks.
There tends to be a very liberal
Okay.
pocket, progressive pocket. You're saying, wow, 65% of the vote,
Let's
66 if
stay.
you round up, that's great.
My
Oh
friend
my
is
God,
saying, let's stay
73%.
positive.
And the math, 157,000.
We're trying, Beth,
You know,
although we don't like the
again,
outcome.
we got 30% of the votes still to come in.
It's kind of like,
maybe the percentages change
but,
as well. Maybe all the
all
votes
right.
are out or from the campus, and you know, and it
See here?
juices up
And
the number
then,
a little bit. But
what
if you're
else is
looking at
that?
that
What
now,
else is
you're underperforming the
Okay.
president of the United States, and Donald Trump's at 32%.
It's time.
And 26%.
Yep.
That's I mean, if that gap holds, and if his improvement like that holds, I'm sorry, go ahead. That's a big deal.
Well, I was just going to say one of the things you hear from the Arab American and Muslim
Let's see
American
here.
community in places like Michigan is not that they were going to vote for Donald Trump, but they either were not going to vote or they were going to vote for Jill
trying to
Stein
get-
or
here we go.
Cornel West. I'm not sure if Cornel West is on the ballot in Michigan, but I mean, these numbers don't add up
And
to
I'll have
100
these for
voters,
you in a
so
moment.
I'm guessing that there is a better than my guess
not
would be.
going
Educated
through
guess
it.
would be there's
Wait a
going to be a
second.
better than
Try that.
average showing for Jill Stein in Michigan than in other states.
Right, and she worked it hard. She was out there quite a bit. Every trip I was out there, you saw activity. Either she was in the state or had just been in the state.
Yeah. So just to explain it. Now, one of the other things I heard about people talking about Michigan is everybody in the media always talk about is Arab
There it
American,
is.
Muslim American vote, but really
Oh, it was
Michigan,
canceled. No,
in terms of a big
no.
sizable,
Try
bigger
that again.
chunk of votes is white
Come
working
on,
class
work,
voters,
work.
union
Try to
voters.
transfer.
Because
Here we
the
go.
Trump campaign ran ads slamming
another
Harris's
one.
position
All right.
on electric vehicles, EVs.
And what else? Let's see here.
And that is
All right.
actually
So,
gonna
folks,
be
we have
more
photographs
significant
from
ultimately
the election day party that's commonly held in front of John's Grill in San Francisco, courtesy of my longtime friend Beth Schnitzer. And I really excited to present these to you. So I'm going to go about, I already got them into the computer from the phone. And I'm going to share the screen and show you. I'll start you with this movie here, right? And let's play it. And that is what they do. This is in front of John's Grill is at, hey, Google, address for John's Grill in San Francisco.
The address for John's Grill is 63 Ellis Street, San Francisco,
Yes.
California, 94102.
This is in front of 63 Ellis Street. How you like that, huh? John's Grill. This is the spread. Look, they've got all the food
I
out
don't
there.
know, but I found these results on search.
I got it, Google. Look at all this spread. This is nice, isn't it? You've got a big salad you can get. There's pasta. There's what appears to be a nice fish dish. Look at this. And there's a throng of people who are all involved in San Francisco politics in some kind of way. Or just like this guy's got a backpack. Or onlookers, if you actually go into John's Grill, there's no place to sit. I've been there. It's all standing room, SRO, standing room only. You'll see a lot of, if you've been involved in politics in the Bay Area, old friends, meet some new ones. And if you're of that persuasion, maybe drink a little too much and have a lot of fun. And so Beth was kind enough to make this video for me, and I'm presenting it to you. Isn't that cool? There, you see that guy with a hat and the suit? That's former San Francisco mayor and California Assembly Speaker of the House, Willie Brown, Natalie dressed as usual. He draws a crowd all on his own, doesn't he? And yeah, that's Willie Brown. So let's freeze that one and then go on. Stop that screen there and then go on to the next one that we have to share. And that is this one. This is my friend Beth and Sheriff. I don't know the man's name. He looks like a San Francisco sheriff. Perhaps Beth does. But Beth is dressed in her red, white, and blue, looking beautiful with her big sunglasses and happy, which makes us happy. And so then we've also got another photo right from the group, and that is here. And it's Beth with two women. The one with the glasses in the middle looks strangely familiar. I do not know why, but her shirt says "Deck the halls with smart, strong women." Kamala la 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 la, like Kamala Harris. That's a creative T-shirt. Deck the halls with smart, strong women. Kamala la 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 la, right? Like Kamala Harris, right? That's the idea. I gotta get one of those shirts. And then what else do we have? So anyway, that's on election day, and thank you very much to Beth. It makes it quite entertaining to present these. Oh, and there's more people here too. See if I can get this one up as well. I think that I know that gentleman as well. If it's ever been said that politics is about people, that statement is certainly true on election day when you go to election party. Beth sent me all these photographs from the election party in San Francisco in front of John's Grill. So I'm showing them to viewers right now. And this lady has a lot of signs and everything on her, right, on her person, okay? And that is, I'll stop the screen, I'll show you that one. And then we'll go back to the reporting on the outcome of the election. Here we go. See that? Yes. And that gentleman he's wearing a blue and gold tie. I know that guy from somewhere, and it's going to come to me when I'm not thinking about it. Maybe I'll just call Beth. But, and then Lady Amin, I also seen before, she has all the signs that she's voted and everything, completely involved in politics. Nice work, Beth. Nice work. All right. Let's turn up the set and hear what we have to hear.
Rock County, 95% Greene County, 92% Lafayette County. That one is a little bit smaller.
Harris
is... again, the math's getting really hard if you're trying to figure out, can Harris come back in Wisconsin? And I would say simply that it comes down to that, and those Milwaukee precincts that are out better be gangbusters.
230 and 182.
Do a personal prerogative. May I see the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania?
Trump
we haven't checked in there in a while. And that's
40 away.
A place
40
near
off.
in my heart.
Still.
And I have questions about it. One of them is Allentown, which is blue right now. Allentown, the city of Allentown is 54% Latino. 54% and 54%. And Pennsylvania, as we've discussed, has the third largest Puerto Rican population on the mainland, behind only New York and New York and Florida.
Another guy looks
So
familiar.
my question is, how is she doing in this Latino area compared to Joe Biden 4 years ago?
Again, cannot go granular just into the city of Allentown.
Right.
You can look at Lehigh County here, right? And I can already tell you, 51 to 48, if you're the Trump campaign, sure, you'd like to win it. But you're looking at 48% in Lehigh County, and you're feeling pretty good because you were 46 last time. Right? And again, within a battleground state, you think margins within the margins, the battlegrounds within the battlegrounds. So, Joe Biden at 53% with 98,000 votes. The vice president at 50% with 93,000 votes. Now, we're not completely done there, but that 5,000 votes makes a big difference. It just does, right? So and that's there, right? So then you come out here and you come up, let's just move on up, right? Carbon County, look at this, Trump getting 73% of the vote. He's improved. That's one of the places he's overperformed himself. And then you move up here, this is Lackawanna County, Scranton, Pennsylvania, Joe Biden's hometown. It's a tough, competitive blue-collar area, but 51 to 48 now.
Yeah, you're supposed to take hydrolysine and cardivorol.
4%, right. It'd be the whole thing. It's a couple thousand votes here. It's a couple
in that
thousand
tray
votes
over there.
I want to show you
By the
something.
way, can I just point out?
Erie is now flipped.
Erie, which
So-
has always voted with
Right,
the presidential victor in Pennsylvania.
Hold on, because
and
I'm on live. So hold on.
Is now with
Uh,
Flipped, and let's see where the turnout
it's
is
just
there. Again,
hydrolysine and
it's one of the
cardivorol.
25, they're at 95%.
So-
It's very close, but it's always very close. So you see Erie County, very close there. And I just want to come across the state, Northampton County. So you're on the, your Buffalo, New York border,
Oh.
and you're New Jersey here.
Hold on a
You've got,
second.
52 to 47 there.
Hold on
Not
a
done
second.
yet, but paced inflation.
So can I make two observations?
So I just want to go back into your comment.
Oh my goodness.
Hold on a
Back-
second.
Say, then you're in Georgia.
All right,
Look,
folks,
this
so-
is the Atlanta suburbs, right? If she loses just a little tiny bit, right? And look down here. These are working class people.
They're
right?
talking
And you're
about
absolutely right.
that.
Then you come out here and you look at in
The
Arizona.
next polls close at
That's Maricopa
3410.
County.
However,
That's the largest county. Up here,
we
you
have
see
some more. I'm going to put that
Democratic
on mute
Maricopa
because
County. Is that the- well, that's just the-
for a
let's
second,
see.
because we have some more pictures to show you from Beth's event that she was kind enough to share, and I managed to get on to the computer real quick. So you saw that one and this one, and what I'm going to do, and then there's, I don't know who this gentleman is. You can also watch us on YouTube, and through the magic of YouTube, I'm going to show you actually my mom something here too, because I'm playing around with this technology and it's all quite entertaining as we go through here and as I wait for the next round of vote counts to come up there. And okay, so let's go over here, search, try, oh, you'd think if I just hit my name, right? But Z, oh, wait a minute, right here. All I've got to go is go over here, go up there, okay, and then go there. but it didn't tune in. All right, search. Sorry. See, YouTube should have this where if I just touch my face, it takes me straight to my channel, right? But it doesn't do that. There it is, NE62, 1, 2, 3, there, okay? And, okay, here's election night right there, and there's live now watching, and hopefully it comes up so we can see. And there it is. There we are, folks. There it is. And that's what Beth sent from John's Grill. It's one of the photographs. And here's another one right here in the share screen. And we have, already saw that one. Oh, we already saw, no, this is a movie, right? Watch this. Okay, there. And don't know if you see this one, but this is the one I showed you actually earlier, but it's worth seeing again. Yeah, that one. And again, this is in front of John's Grill. It's actually a slightly different angle. Okay. And you can see that there are people having different conversations. Tables are out where you can stand next to them. There's this nice little fence there. And I believe this is the one where earlier I pointed out to you that that gentleman in the purple looks familiar. Yeah, go over here. There's Billy Brown. I pointed that out to you earlier right there. And that's the inside of it. This is John's Grill, famous John's Grill in San Francisco. See, it says steaks and seafood and cocktails. They do this every 4 years. Once every 4 years, they close out down the street. This is Ellis Street off of Market. You can see down there. That's the Four Seasons, the tall high rise in the background hotel. And then we've got another photograph that Beth, since you wound up sending quite a few of these. And yeah, this is I showed you this before, but this again is where her shirt says "Deck the halls with smart, strong women, comma la 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 la." And that's the lady in the middle, and I don't know who the lady on the right is at all. And Beth's that's the biggest hat I've ever seen Beth wear. And see people in the background. There's a guy with the London Breed sign, or lady actually on the right, and that generally attracts about 500 to 1,000 people through the day on election day. It's something else. It really is. It's something else. So we're watching that. We're gonna go back to CNN now, so you can hear the coverage and find out what's happening with that. And that's where we're going right now. As I click the screen here and bring that into relief, and then scroll up. Oops. And there. Okay. Yeah. And so here we go. Okay.
I read this in an exit poll, and
right.
Whoever is listening
so,
from the exit poll,
John Akala asks, how's the mayoral recall going? John, that's a good question. Let's find out what the update is.
In 2020, 10%.
Hey, Nathan.
In 2024,
Nathan says this. Mom, you got to hear this. Says, hello there. He says,
Pennsylvania more than doubled for Trump. But
What?
if that number's true,
Do you hear what he said? Listen to this.
After every election, you have the conversation, right?
Listen
After
to this.
2016, it was what's happening to Democrats.
Listen to
I mean,
this.
you know, it was already happening, but Trump put on steroids the Democrats' problem
Yeah.
with white working class people who work with their hands. And now I would say, take the white out of that. Take the white out
it's
of that.
just about working class
The
people.
gains among black men, the gains among Latino men
Huh.
are among people who work with their hands, who have been punished. Who the conversations that strike you for 15 months on the road is,
Got to listen to
you
this,
know,
folks.
I could afford a new car, but then if any prices go up, I can't take that loan. Like I cannot put, there's no way. So you're asking your mechanic, can I keep this thing on the road for a little bit longer? And your Christmas time, you're telling your kids you're getting one gift, not two. Or we were going to try to go to Disneyland, but we're not this year.
Yeah.
We're going to go to the amusement park, you know,
Mhm.
that's a couple hours away by car, but we're not going to Disneyland or some big thing like that. These are the conversations you're having in state after state after state with people who have working class jobs. And some of them, I mean, union auto workers, they think that's a good middle class job. Union auto workers who get the employee discount, who can get preferable financing, saying, I'm not going to take the risk to buy a new truck. I'm going to keep this older one on the road because I just can't do that on the family budget now. Can't do it.
Yeah, back to Caitlin Collins at Trump HQ in West Palm Beach.
I don't know if you heard John
what are
King
you
was
learning
talking
right
about the
now
increase
about the former president's
in the number of
plans
black
to
men
see-
voting for Trump. Remember I talked about that? Well,
Well, Jake,
you know,
we've been waiting to hear
that's,
whether or not he was actually going to come here to the convention
wow.
center. And just to remind everyone at home, there are two separate parties happening right now. A watch party
Hold
here
on one
where
second,
I am at the convention
folks.
center. Where the convention center is. But Jake, that is a sign of how good the Trump campaign is feeling based on the numbers that John King just read there. That Donald Trump is preparing to come over here. He said earlier he had no speech planned. We'll see what he says when he's here. Kristen Holmes, we've been watching all of this. And obviously the Trump team has been watching the breakdown here of how he's been doing with certain demographics and how he's improving from where his standing was actually in 2020, certainly in 2016.
Yeah, and we were told that that was what they were seeing in
excuse me.
internal polling.
This is
But of
B6.
course, given what we were seeing and
B6.
people were talking to on the ground, we had to wait and see how it played out. Now, I do want to add to what Donald Trump is doing right now, because we were told that while he was over at Mar-a-Lago, essentially this was a watch party, that was a dinner, they had giant screens, but the plan was always that if Donald Trump was going to come over, they were going to bring those members that were there at Mar-a-Lago over here. And I am told that currently those members are being bussed over here, meaning that Donald Trump's arrival is likely imminent. Now, all of those members are obviously going to have to be in place. As we've reported, it's kind of sparse here. There's not a lot of people. They're expecting over 100 people to be bussed over here. Those people are going to have to be in place before Donald Trump takes the stage, because these are going to be some of his biggest fans. They're going to want to fill the crowd here. But now they're coming over, so that gives you a little bit of a timeline of when we see Donald Trump moving from Mar-a-Lago to here. As we know, this room is about to fill up pretty quickly, probably within the next half hour.
Yeah, and of course the big question is what he's going to say. Obviously, he wouldn't come here likely and not take the stage. That's behind us. It's already we're coming in.
Okay, John, you asked how the mayoral recall was going.
To the Trump campaign, and obviously that has only continued to grow ever since seeing the calls in North Carolina, how well these Republican Senate candidates are doing also, and those numbers there in Pennsylvania, Jake.
All right, Caitlin, thanks so much. As we prepare for what we think is going to happen, Mr. Trump,
we have not
coming
had
out and speaking, it is a good moment for us just to take a measure of where the night is.
no
at
voting
this
update.
moment. We're still, of course, waiting to call several of the battleground states, 6 out of 7 of them. But Chris, right now, I think it's fair to say anybody watching would rather be Donald Trump than Kamala Harris at this moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Now,
There's no
if
update.
he declares victory, he hasn't won the race yet. There is
Now,
still
for those of you,
a potential path to 270
hold on
electoral
a
votes.
second.
None of the blue wall
CNN
states
has a
have been
projection
called. If he says the trends are looking
that
very
hopefully it's
good
for Kamala
tonight,
Harris.
you can't argue with that.
Let's see here.
And I'm going to go to Jake for a major
Trump
projection.
wins
That's
North
right. We have
Carolina.
another major projection for you now.
Oh, here we go.
And CNN can project. that
Trump won Georgia this
will
time.
Go to Donald Trump. Georgia, a very
Wow.
hotly contested battleground of 16 electoral votes.
Last time
This
Biden
is
won
the
Georgia.
second of 7 battleground states that we have called, and both of them have been for Donald Trump. Let's take a look at what that means for the
Now he's at
electoral map.
246.
Donald Trump right now has 200.
Oh, you might as well crown him. Boy, oh boy, that's too
Kamala
close.
Harris
I
right
hate
now has
that.
182 electoral votes.
Man,
There are 270 needed to win. As
270.
of right now, CNN is not ready to project who is going to win the presidency, but sorry for so rudely interrupting. Donald Trump has now been projected to have won the second of
Just-
7
that's why I was
electoral-
wanted to
seven
help
key
you. You
battleground
know, the way she was
states
treating me
with
was
5
wrong.
more to go. And obviously, the
We had a
blue
little
wall states, as you
snafu
were
at the
saying,
voting
are
place. And
And this is a flip
wacko people
because in
who
2020,
actually look like me
Joe
and
Biden
her.
won.
Okay.
Now, despite the fact that
but
Donald
got
Trump
triggered over the sight of a black
find
guy.
those 11,000 plus votes, they
Seriously.
weren't there.
Um,
And this time around,
so-
the projection that you just
let
made
me-
is that they are there, plus,
Yeah.
who knows however many votes there are. So this
Hey,
is
let me
even more
say
evidence
something.
why we heard
One
the
second.
Harris campaign manager, Jenna Malley-Dillon, say to reporters maybe an hour or two ago that the Sun Belt is basically gone and they're looking at the blue wall and they're still insisting that it is possible. But this is, again, a very, very bad news for.
Yeah, I mean, we went into the night with a lot of people talking about a potential realignment with both parties. Who would be the mix of people in each coalition?
Yeah,
But
let
it's
me
actually
put our on me just for a second, because John, you asked how the recall was going. You guys hadn't seen the numbers. Nathan Banks just wrote, if the Harris campaign is still confident, I'm still confident. But one thing is for sure, this country rejected progressivism tonight. Don't ever listen to a leftist again. Well, Nathan, I'm leftist, but the problem isn't that. The problem is that we started off with uncertainty at the top. We had Biden. Biden didn't perform well. A number of people, including myself, thought I was going to be California governor and friend Gavin Newsom. There are people in the party who, for their own reasons, tried to push him out in the way, and they did. He's governor, of course, but I'm saying that in terms of being the heir apparent, that's what happened. There was a groundswell of people who believe that since the vice president is there and the vice president is elevated to replace the president, then it should be Harris. And there were people who sounded that call. Van Jones was famous among them, who basically read me the riot act in his own way on our private texts about it. I get it. I said, okay, I'm behind, right? We go with the party. But the bottom line is that we didn't stick with our guy, and we were too quick to dump him, even though he didn't perform well, and arguably could have given the right meds the next time, had another debate and won. That's how I see it. I don't know how you see it or anybody else. I hate losing. I hate losing to Trump. I just have to be honest, okay? But you have to respect, this is a democracy. You have to respect that he's the president when he becomes president, but the way he presents himself sometimes leaves you with some concern at times. But what we have to do is we have to stay literally on the straight and narrow, mind our P's and Q's, handle your business, folks. Handle your business. Don't give up, as my friend Beth wrote. Stay positive. Stay positive. She's right. Positive thinking. Control your own space. Right. Control your own space. Because hey, look. You know this was coming, and I knew this was a possibility. Why? Because it's a coin flip. You either have a Republican or a Democrat, which means a 50% chance that the Republican's going to win or the Democrat. And it's like that every 4 years. It's like that every 2 years for down ballot races. You know the drill, okay? Maybe you're lucky you get a third party, an independent. Maybe you get somebody like when Ross Perot, the rise of Ross Perot. Remember that? Everyone thought, oh, he's going to be the guy, and he wasn't. And then Cornel West merged, and Cornel West was, wrongly ignored, but it happens, and he didn't quite master the social media game to make up for it. So here we are, all right? Here we are. And the other real big problem is that you can't, and I'm going to say this very bluntly, representing my Democratic Party, you cannot use poor Black folks and not give them jobs, okay? Money talks, BS walks. We've heard it all the time. It's true. Now you're talking about, hey, we're going to have robots replacing us and all of this sort of thing. And that scares everybody, because the question is, well, how am I going to make a living if I have to worry about a robot? Now, if you know how to use your brain and you can be a consultant and something like that, well, then you've got the answer. But for those people who are used to doing manual labor, with the advancing forms of artificial intelligence and robotics, I also always say, build your own robots, right? Build your own robots. Now, Reg says, I endorse Mayor John Botter for Emeryville. So let's check out that race next. And so we'll turn our attention. First, I'll turn this up. there.
Productivity hit a new
Okay.
level.
And I'll turn this down a little bit so I can.
And me, Mark Stewart, on Marketplace.
All right, right there.
Today on CNN.
And then we'll review what's going on. All right, so now let's turn to a review of the votes. Here we go. First, Alameda County election results. I'm not going to go through the entire county, of course, but I am going to go through right now
It is election
what
night in
is
America. Let us bring you back
here,
to where
okay?
we are right now with 200.
Let's go right down here to,
needed to win. Donald Trump
you
is
said John Bowders, right? Let's go county.
Kamala Harris
Supervisor,
is
5th
at
District.
1.
John Bowders is ahead of Nikki Bass,
There are still
55
5 battleground states that
per
remain
0.60, 44.40,
let's go and look at where
and
we are.
with
Pennsylvania,
0.79%
with 50
precincts reporting.
of the vote. Kamala Harris
This update.
0.1% of the
This is
vote.
from
Donald Trump
8:15.
has more than
Okay.
165
So if I refresh this,
votes lead. Let's go to Kamala Harris headquarters right now.
we still have it. All right. Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Good evening, HU. I want to say good evening to all of the Harris campaign, the campaign family. Thank you for all that you have done. Thank you for being here. Thank you for believing in the promise of America. We still have votes to count. We
Yep.
still have states that
That's Cedric
haven't
Women,
been called
Richmond.
yet. We will continue overnight to fight to make sure that every vote is counted, that every voice has spoken. So you won't hear from the vice president tonight, but you will hear from her tomorrow. She will be back here tomorrow to address not only the HU family, not only to address her supporters, but to address the nation. So thank you. We believe in you. May God bless you. May God keep you. And go HU and go Harris. Thank you all.
So that's this Cedric. He says she's not coming out. Okay, so John is ahead. John Bowders is ahead by a healthy margin. And I think it gets to what Nathan Banks was saying about and I think this is on a local level too. The rejection of the reason why I react to this is because I believe progressivism is about making sure everybody has a fair vote, democratic process, basically minding everyone's civil rights, and that's it for me. Unfortunately, there's a strain of person who calls themselves progressive that has been very nasty to other people in the Democratic Party. And I think, Nathan, that's really what you're talking about. Okay. And look, I get it. Okay. I get it. The Democratic Party has been, you have some people in it who decided they use Trump tactics to divide the party. Some of those people right now are being recalled for that reason. So our in the Alameda County context, our party is damaged. Nationwide, it's a different story. At the top, our party has been damaged by not paying attention to the critical issues. Money on the table, enough money in my pocket to pay my bills. That's where it all starts. You start messing with that, you lose elections. All right? It's not a matter of being left or right. Because you can be right, wing, and focused on the wrong thing and lose everybody. And if, hey, look, if they're not making money with you, you go out. All right? So all that other stuff is literally out. It's out the window. All right? So there's, what your thought about it is, that's my thought. Now, 5th District Supervisor, I got that. Recall Pamela Price. This is for those who haven't seen it, because these numbers haven't changed since 8:15 today, all right? But the recalls are ahead. It's 95,252. No is 52,013. And I refreshed that to show if there's been no update there. So registration and turnout. Let's see, vote by mail reporting turnout is what you're looking at, okay?
place like Nevada.
So all that you're seeing right now is the vote by mail turnout.
Something that is more favorable to them.
The
That's
total
an
vote by
argument
mail turnout has been 163,665. That's
And I just
vote
wanna
by
go
mail.
back to, even though,
The total ballots cast were 163,665. All right. So what we're seeing is vote by mail. All right. Then youth voting registration and turnout, 183. That's low. But that's of the mail. That's the mail-in. Walk-in is a different story. So we don't even know how this looks at but we have somewhat of an idea, don't we? We have somewhat of an idea. All right.
According to the national polls,
We have somewhat of an idea.
It seems like abortion was not
And
the
so
animating
federal,
issue. It was the way it was right after the Dobbs ruling.
in terms of, president and vice president, Kamala Harris got 123,651 votes in Alameda County versus Donald Trump for 32,891. That's 76.71 versus 20.41. Jill Stein, 1,891. Robert F. Kennedy, 1,402. Claudia De La Cruz, 836. Chase Oliver, 501. And Peter Sonsky, 12. I don't see Cornel West on the hairs, which means he didn't make the California ballot, unfortunately. Senator Adam Schiff, top Steve Garvey. This is the mail-ins, okay? 120,434 to Steve Garvey, 34,938. No, Steve Garvey is a famed baseball player. U.S. Senator, that's Schiff, all right? Representative of the 10th Congressional District, Mark Deschaunier, 2,430 votes versus Catherine Piccinini, 1,087. 12th District Congressional Representative Latifah Simon, 44,569 mail-in votes versus Jennifer Tran, who's been on my program, 26,122 or 36.95%. 14th District Eric Swalwell, cruising. Go Eric, 69% of the vote. And then you have 17th District Ro Kahana, cruising versus Anna Chin. State, excuse me. What else we have here? We have State Senator 5th District, and that's Jerry McInerney, back in over Jim Shoemaker, 64% to 35%. 7th District, that's Jesse Arguin, former Mayor Berkeley, beats Giovanna Beckles. Congratulations, Mayor. State Senator 9th District, Timothy Grayson, close race versus Marisol Mubio, 51.85, 48.15. Buffy Wicks, re-election. She cruises to re-election, my friend does. 79% to 20%. 16th District, that's Rebecca Bauer-Kahn, 12,007. And remember, these are all mail-ins, okay? So we don't have the walks yet. They're still counting. And the rule now is they're going to announce them when they're done counting. Okay? They're not done counting. Okay? Nia Bonta cruises in terms of the mail-ins. And then Liz Ortega, comfortably ahead. Alex Lee beating Bob Brunton like a drum. And the propositions, a whole flanks of them, which I'll read in detail later. But there's your summary update of the election. There. And we have the school races in Alameda County for a number of cities. I will focus on Oakland. I did before, but I'll read it later again. And then the county issue that you all are interested in, again, the recall of Pamela Price, we discussed that. And the city recall, Oakland, here.
Hispanics, Trump is crushing in Hispanics. The this
right here.
vote in Pennsylvania.
Mayor Tao,
He's getting 50%.
the yes is way over the nose.
From 2020, he was at 45%. He's now
And
at,
they're talking about,
Allentown is, we were talking about how, the Puerto Ricans are come out. He's winning those votes because you know what those people care about? They care about security. They care about economy. They care about those things around the kitchen table. So if the former president,
hey, Larry Davenport, how you doing?
The mayor's gonna have to sit back. He's gonna win. Looks like
Hey, Rich, why'd you enjoy Doris John Bottom?
There's gonna be a reckoning in America. The people have to sit back.
Great
and
to
say,
see you, Larry.
Maybe some of these things Trump's espousing are not crazy. Maybe he's right. Right? Maybe the Democratic Party needs to come back to the center if they want to be competitive again. There's going to be a point where they're going to say, we need to go further to the left.
Ben, I hear what you're saying, and I do see it differently because I'm thinking about the people who are not a part of anybody's elite.
Well, John says, I guess it doesn't look good for first female president in U.S. history. Well, this is the second time this happened.
Who know a little bit about what Trump down to. You know, a little bit about having their economic dreams crushed. Who tried to dream a big dream over the past couple of months. And tonight they're trading in a lot of hope for a lot of hurt. And they were hoping that maybe this time, one of their own could be seen as worthy. And once again, they were facing rejection. And that hurts. They thought tomorrow morning they're going to walk out with their shoulders back a little bit, maybe able to breathe for the first time and feel like they belong someplace. They did everything that they knew how to do. And it's going to be harder than it should be tomorrow for them to hold their heads up. And they're not the only people who are hurting tonight. If you're a parent of a trans kid, your child's face was used as a springboard to power for somebody. That doesn't feel good. There are going to be people tomorrow, we're going to be handing clothes at the dry cleaners to people who don't have papers. There are going to be people who are going to be cleaning your teeth tomorrow who don't have papers. And they're terrified tonight. And so it's easy to blow this off. Oh, look at the elite. They're going to get their comeuppance. It's not the elite that's going to pay the price. It's people who woke up this morning with a dream and are going to bed with a nightmare.
Right.
And those people deserve to be respected and held and talked to. Those are the people that pay the price for whatever Donald Trump decides to do.
How do we know that those people didn't vote? A large portion of those people aren't part of the people that elected Donald Trump. Right? I think that's a good part of the electorate. And the black women, the party, the Democratic Party, let those black women down. Not Donald Trump.
Dave, we gotta go. Let's go back to Jake.
All right, thanks so much. And we're gonna bring you
another key West alert, folks. Too early to call.
Donald Trump's still in the lead there. 51.1% of the vote. Kamala Harris has 47.
Hey, what's going on is
with a more than 216,000 vote lead there, with 92% of the estimated vote coming in from the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Michigan now, the Badgers, the Wolverine state.
I don't think the Democratic
of the vote. Kamala Harris, 46.1% of the vote. Donald Trump with more than 203,000 vote.
No, you know what I think it is, though? I think just like the young lady that was here today, who says, I'm voting for the lesser of two evils, but she didn't know about Kamala Harris. And as opposed to knowing about Joe Biden. And, we come from California and we know who Kamala is, But what I'm finding is what I found when she was first elevated is a lot of people here didn't know her among people who look like me. And for whatever reasons that's going on, and maybe it is the economy, we are less likely. We're less likely now to just vote for somebody because they're black anymore. And I think it has to do with it has to do with a lot of integration that's there. It has to do with also a lot of broken promises where people feel like the Democratic Party has used us to say, hey, look, I'm helping you. But then those folks are not truly getting better in terms of their economic lot. And they see all these other folks getting what they should have, and they're not having it. And then all the time, it's like, hey, it's every 4 years, hey, and come and vote, because if you don't vote for us, you're not going to have your benefits, you're not going to have your everything. And then we vote for them, and yet our benefits are still not there like they should be. And so hold on. Anyway, my point is that we uh, the country is more complex socially. You can't just say it's black. And I was thinking about this the other day because one of our clients is Indian American, and it made me pay attention to the large number of Indian Americans that have been born here, grown here, become part of pop culture, right? The number of people who are American has expanded dramatically. The mix of people in terms of marriage, I'm not talking about sexual orientation, I'm talking about marriage in terms of background, ethnicity, and everything is more complex. You have people who are, they can claim 3 different colors in their background, maybe 4. And so those labels are becoming more blurred, right? More blurred. At the end of the day, what counts, what matters to everybody is, do I have enough money on the table to pay my bills? And if the answer is no, they look at you as running the government and say, okay, you're either in or you're out. It's that simple. It's that simple.
November 17th.
No, it's that simple. So, but what we're waiting for, folks, for those of you who are here for the local races, we're waiting for the ballots to be counted in Alameda County to see what's going on in California. There is a lot on the line. The future, there's a lot. There's also a lot on the line for the future of my company. Although it's good, great so far, not just good, great. As Tony Tiger would say, well, they're great. And I'll take that. I definitely will. And I'm hoping that let's see here. Kamala Harris gets New Mexico.
Go to the Democrat, Vice President Kamala Harris. New Mexico with its 5 electoral votes. What does that bring us in terms of math? Let us look. Donald Trump has 240.
All right. Well, unfortunately, our client, you have 100% reporting. Patrick Ahrens is the AD26 representative in Sacramento, beating our client, Tara Shriek-Rishnan, 58.4% to 41.6% of the vote. That is too bad. We came in literally on the last week. Last week we were brought. Last week, a week ago before that, and I would have loved for us to come in, with a month. All right, but hey, we came in. We did our jobs. We elevated her visibility. We got the problem out of the way. And which really had to do with a really complex issue in Indian culture that I just became aware of, that I think should have been told for what it was, but that's as much as I'll say about that. I believe in the future of Tara Shriek-Rishnan. I think she's got a lot to offer California and the United States, and I'm going to text her and say, hey, please run for something again and get us involved early so we can help you win, because I think she's a fantastic person who really deserves a seat at the table. So I just got to say that for Tara Shriek-Rishnan. We did digital media work for her campaign. I'm very proud to have been able to do that on behalf of Zoni 62 Media. Yeah. So moving along to our other involved races in Alameda County, I'm going now to San Leandro. See if anything has happened there. Let's refresh this. See if
so yes, she needs to win all blue wall states.
See here.
That would get her there on its own.
Okay, so at 9:48 p.m.
But there's no way to get there.
Or which is 12:48, now 1 o'clock, we have the votes that have come in. Now we can really start getting down to the nitty gritty of what's happening here. Let me make sure that you can see them. And you can.
Donald Trump won that.
All right.
He'd be over the top.
Let's go to Oakland.
If she is winning,
Recall Shang Tao is
something else along the way.
Okay. It's done, folks. 108 of 108 precincts reporting 100%. Mayor Tao has been recalled. 64.58% versus no's at 35.42%. Mayor Tao has been recalled. Congratulations to Seneca Scott, who launched the recall effort, and everybody else who was involved in something that unfortunately did need to be done, and it was done. Oakland will be seeking will be getting a new interim mayor within the coming weeks, and it will enter an interesting period in Oakland's history. But Shane Tao has lost her job. She is no longer mayor. Shane Tao has been recalled. I'll put it right here.
He did not speak those words. That doesn't mean it's not massive. You know, the states have not been called, but he did not say we see a viable path to victory. He said,
well, Shang, the way it'll work is that Shang will be the mayor until we appoint an interim for January of next year. So she'll serve out her term. But come January next year, we will have a new interim mayor, which more than likely will be probably Kevin Jenkins, who's District 6 City Council member. I'm not sure how that's going to work out. We'll have to see. And that interim mayor, they will have a special election for the next mayor. They recalled her. Yeah. I'm going to put this on mute for 1 second, folks. I've got to announce this by video that Mayor Tao has been recalled because it has happened. Oakland Mayor Shang Tao recalled, and the recall count was 64.58%. This is percent. This is 35.42%. First time in Oakland history. Yep. History. First time in Oakland's history that has happened. Right there. Make a quick video about this, folks. And there we go. Put on live stream here. There. Paste. Turn next. All right. Next. Let's see if I can trying to get a thumbnail. Let's get Mayor Tao's picture here someplace. See if I can very quickly get that here. I had a photograph up there. It is right there. Okay. All right. Okay. Hey, folks, we're live. Announcement as of the announcement of this vote count, which is approximately 14 minutes ago. Oakland Mayor Shang Tao has been officially recalled. The yes votes for recall were 28,496, or 64.58%, to 15,626, or 35.42%. And so there is that announcement. Here are the numbers here. All right, recall. Okay. All right. Recall Shang Tao, yes. And there's the number here, as you can see. This is not a ranked choice. This is straight away. Straight away. Recalled. Okay. And let's see here. We can put that on Twitter. Let's put that in. Oh, whoops. Oakland history. There. Okay. Right there. That. And so you can go back and put that on, excuse me. Also go back and put that on Facebook. Post. And it's on Facebook. Okay. All right. So there that is. Right there. Yeah. So Shang's been recalled. And I'll have more to say about that later on live stream. In fact, I'm making a live stream telling viewers about it now. John Akala says, not surprised, wonder how she's going to react. And let me see on Twitter if she has put out anything over on her Twitter account. And I'll show you the reaction there. Shang Tao repeatedly clams. What? She claims. Let's see here. Right there. And we don't have right. Okay, the mayor, all right. The Chronicle was purporting the votes for the mail-in votes, but not the vote votes here. Okay. And here's Mayor Tao with Walter Riley outside of Fluid 510, where she had her election party there. Yeah. So there it is, folks. Like I said, I'll have more on that and more on that. And right now what I'm doing right now is we're here watching, this is on Zenny Report, Zenny 62 on YouTube, and we're going over the returns, and we're also watching CNN, the national news, where Trump is ahead of Harris 246 to 187, and we are praying for a miracle that allows Kamala Harris to catapult over Donald Trump and be president of the United States. Yeah. So subscribe to Zenny62 on YouTube. All right. And that ends this live stream. Not the live stream, but it ends this one. Okay. All right. I'll be back. No, I'm not leaving this one, folks. I got a live stream. I'm talking about this video I just made here. Okay. All right. So that video is up and out there. All right. Let me see while that's happening if I can get a hold of the master of ceremonies here. And that is Mr. Scott himself. Let's see if he's available. Seneca Scott.
Did he win?
Yep. He's a guy who, yeah, he's probably getting inundated.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail.
Yep.
The person you're trying to reach is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up.
Hey, congratulations, Seneca. Wanted to have you on, get your thoughts. We're on live. I will send you a link. So if you're able, come on by. Zenny, talk to you later. All right. So let's see if I can get him a they were having their own little party event, I think, where they're at. So invite guests, copy.
Oh my God! Yeah,
Republicans have won control of the Senate.
Oh.
Well, Yeah.
Oh Lord. What
Come
is
on,
it?
Dims. Or as my
I don't know what's gonna happen to us now.
or as my friend Keith Johnson just wrote, shh, and I won't repeat the rest. Yep. So
We're really messed up now. We are really messed up.
boy.
We are messed up.
Oh, Beth sent even more photographs. Yeah, there, okay. So we got that going. Republicans have won control of the Senate. Boy, oh
For
boy.
when it was more favorable for Democrats, and that was not this year.
I mean, let's talk
Nathan
about
says
the significance
there are
of a
still
Republican
10
Senate
seats up for
if
grabs in the
it
Senate.
gives
CNN, so you're
Donald
saying,
Trump
wait a
as
minute,
president.
Nathan?
It means that
So you're saying CNN is wrong? They are reporting that Republicans win control of the Senate. You're saying not yet. There are still 10 seats up for grabs in the Senate, right? So, hey, tell us some information that we would definitely want to see.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, man. Geese.
in the House, although that hasn't been decided yet, the Republicans have flipped 3 Democratic seats. The Democrats haven't flipped a single Republican seat. So there is the possibility here of a complete united Republican government with Donald Trump as the president and with a Republican House and Senate, which means that in terms of appointments, in terms of immigration policy, economic policy, environmental policy, you name it, he could have a pretty blank check.
So, for example, on immigration policy, which is something that we think that Donald Trump would, if he wins, want to enact something along the lines of the proposals he's made. Republicans have said we passed an immigration bill, HR 2, which was a tough. A tough. It wasn't a compromise package. It was a tough immigration bill. It was HR 2. The House version is what I'm saying. The Senate version was bipartisan. The House version, when you ask Speaker,
let's go through, folks. While he's talking about that,
all this legislation,
I'm going to go back
just died in the
to
Senate.
this,
wouldn't even alloa vote on it.
and because we've got some other races that we've been involved in as a company that I need to take a look at. The recall is there. All right. Let's go to district. We weren't involved in District 3. Okay, so 14 and 14 precincts reporting. Carol Fife wins the first place, first choice votes. The question is, and I don't think this is going to happen. I think Carol Fife wins re-election here, but let's see how ranked choice voting plays out.
That's what I'm saying.
But I think Carol wins a bruising re-election campaign.
Seneca Scott.
Oh, here he is. Hold on a second, folks.
Possible if he is president that some
Seneca.
legislation.
Congratulations, man. Hey, folks.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
The man of the hour, folks. Seneca Scott. Yeah, and Seneca, you launched this, and you did so with righteous anger, which I have supported 100%. And I just want to say, without tears, because I would like to cry, but I'm not on the air. Congratulations, man. You really deserve it.
Thank you, Zenny. I appreciate it, man. You know, it's for Oakland, so we got a lot of work to do. And it doesn't change any of the problems that we have with our budget and that we're facing, but hopefully it gives people some more confidence that we can get the right people in there to handle these issues.
What does this say about to those people who discounted the will of the people to really make change?
Get in touch with your neighbors. It's okay to be wrong and admit it, but it's time to get in touch. Oakland has spoken. Stop the smearing. Stop attacking everybody without wanting to deal with the issue. And be intellectual. Oakland's a very smart place. We should be able to debate on facts and logic and not with this whatever the Democrats are doing right now. It's just not okay.
Yeah. Hey, tell people who are wondering how, because other people have asked me, so who's the next mayor? And You and I know, but I want to hear it from you. How does the process work?
I don't know. Hold on 1 second, Cindy.
Yes, sir.
Hold on, Cindy.
Yes, sir.
Hold on.
I'm here.
I don't see an opener here. Oh, there it is. Hello?
I'm here.
Thank you.
I'm here.
Sorry, I was looking for an opener.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, they know.
Mm-hmm.
Every single person who supported Tao was either somebody who gets paid off of this
Mm-hmm.
or someone who's so affluent that they're insulated from the failed progressive policy.
Mm-hmm.
And they're willing to turn a blind eye to the desperation and suffering of small businesses and neighbors in the flatland who are living through hell.
Yep.
It's time to have peace and reconciliation. It's time to take a page from South Africa post Nelson Mandela's release from prison.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to take a page from the Rwanda post-genocide. There have been historical examples of people who have been far more at each other's throats than we are, who have been able to bring the peace and love back and get their communities back on track. And I think that's what we need to do. We need to be honest about the fact that we have some issues here.
Mm-hmm.
We have some division here,
Mm-hmm.
and get to the heart of why we have it and what we can do to solve it.
But I asked, do we really need the division? Because my thought was, if we go back to the pandemic, we just actually gave businesses money to open and survive, and we do what we used to do, business retention, pay for their windows to be fixed, get the security around them, stuff we used to do. If we just did that, we wouldn't be in this situation, would we? Did I sound like a delusion?
No, I put my headphones on for a second.
Oh.
My head was higher. Say that last part one more time.
Yeah, sure. I was saying that if the city did its normal job of economic development and business retention, getting money to help businesses fix their windows, stay open during the pandemic, and get air cleaners in to clean the air of COVID, all the stuff that we used to do in terms of having an economic development, business retention program, we wouldn't be in this situation, would we? And also security.
I don't think that we would. Well, security is paramount. I don't think that we would, Cindy. But here's another thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
As performative as it was, and as a day late in the dollar short as it was,
Mm-hmm.
Mayor Tao responded to her with her 200-word statement
Mm-hmm.
back in January. People like to act like that was recent. That was back in January. She dismissed this effort.
Yep.
Has she done that in good faith and then started to act the way she's been acting the last month or so when she actually showed up for work every day in good faith and tried to do her job and not was completely lazy or lying?
Mm-hmm.
She may have beat.
Yeah.
But because of her arrogance, and let me just say this for anyone who's listening.
Mm-hmm.
Same Tile, you know who you have to blame for this? It's Brandon Halani.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, what an awful person. Thank you.
What a terrible person.
The devil incarnate. Oh, bad dude.
Well, I want to go that far and say the devil, but this person's deeply disturbed and mentally ill.
Mm-hmm.
And to have him anywhere near your office and open for this prolonged period of time, even after he was busted, running St. Bernard's house.
Yep.
Come on, man. Come on, Shane. You should have got rid of him a long time ago.
Oh, and on taxpayer dollar.
Have this job today.
And Seneca, on taxpayer money.
And now he's about to get run out of his second city.
Yeah.
In the last many years or whatever. So,
yeah.
Anyway, hey, I got to get back.
All right, buddy.
I've got some reporters waiting. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, congratulations, man.
All right. Yeah, thank you, sir.
You got it. See ya. Yeah. So there he is, Seneca Scott. They gave Seneca a hard time. Oakland Side misreported stuff about him, talked about how he had a gun charge and all this other stuff, and if you look deeply in it, it wasn't really that at all. I mean, they tried to make his life a living hell, all because he wanted to clean up. West Oakland looks like blank, okay? It does. It doesn't. Mom, you wouldn't recognize West Oakland. It's so messy in a lot of places. And they're like, oh, nothing to see here. Don't complain. Oh, you're not from Oakland. You're not this. Give me a break, all right? Nobody wants to live in squalor. And that's exactly what West Oakland looks like. So great for Seneca, for sticking his neck out, literally. And now the next question is, okay, where we go from here? Now let's check on the next race, which is Pamela Price. I believe Carol Fife's going to get back in, as I said. We have to see how that plays out. All right, now. Whoa, okay, let's refresh this. All right. So we have under City of Oakland for our District 1 race. Okay, District 1, that is toast. Zach Unger sails in. He got 7,105 votes, 75.88%. Lynn Raphael, 1,496 votes, 15.98%. Lynn, hey, Lynn, you gave it your best shot. But there you go. Zach cleared the fences. He wins dramatically. He is a new District 1 council member. Now if Carol wins re-election and then Zach comes in, we'll have some of the people in that kind of contributed to this problem, right? But that's another story there. All right. So No Guile is handily ahead of Aaron Armstrong, 56.89% versus 28.56% for her. And Dominic Prado comes up 516 votes with 11 of 11 precincts reporting. District 7, Ken Houston is ahead. But this is where ranked choice voting, folks, is going to come into play. Why? Because of the simple fact that Ken has 33.30% of the vote versus 29.61 for Iris. And you want to talk about close? Brothers and sisters, that's close. And what we're looking at is a situation where you've got right here, 146 votes separates Ken and Iris, which means when you bring in ranked choice voting, this could go in either direction. So this is far from over. City attorney, Ryan Richardson is going to win his job.
How long
back.
are they be doing
The Ryan Richardson is going to win his job. It's hold on one second, folks. Hold on a second. Ryan Richardson is going to get reelected. So what we got here is, with the exception of Seneca's recall, the people that the fans of recall were backing with money to have pushed out so far have survived those attacks. Ryan Richardson, and I was on the fence, frankly speaking, regarding Ryan Richardson and Brenda, because I never view Ryan as really part of the problem. There are other people who tagged him as that because he decided to run, and he is Barbara Parker's successor. I'll say more about that later, but I viewed it as a coin flip for me. At any rate, then there was Zach Unger, who's from the firefighters union, a popular firefighter who is now council member. So he comes with an army. These folks come with armies, and so you really have to have your own army ground game to beat them. And this demonstrates that for the most part they didn't. Carol and her future is somewhat up in the air, but not entirely. I think she's going to survive this. So basically, if you think about Carol, Zach Unger winning, then the attack on the progressives essentially failed, except it did get Shang Tao. But Shang's attack wasn't because she was progressive. Shang's attack was because Shang was nasty to people. She violated the rights of Leona Powell, who was on my show, and then the Oakland Public Ethics Commission did not exact the proper punishment, and then it looked like Shang had actually got in her application to file to be mayor illegally, and yet it was twisted around in the city clerk's office to make it look like it was legal. There's that issue. And then there was the constant drumbeat of I, me, rather than the city. And then there was the effort to push Lerone Armstrong out. before the ink was dry on her documents to be signed that would affirm her as mayor of Oakland. And the assertion that was made by my sources to me that it was an effort to get her out, Lerone out, because she wanted an Asian police chief, but she didn't want it to look like she was pushing out a black mayor, so she had to make up a reason. This is all before she officially hit office, folks. And then she hits office, and what does she do? She asks for a $75,000 raise. At the same time that everybody's complaining about having a budget deficit, the new mayor of Oakland, who's only months into the job, wants a $75,000 raise. Okay? So Shang did not get the notice. Oh, and then there were the A's. The A's had already decided to leave, but hey, out of respect for the mayor and the possibility that maybe Oakland will get its act together, they gave her a chance. What does she do? Meets with a Major League Baseball commissioner, doesn't take anybody to the meeting in Seattle who would make a difference. No Gavin Newsom, no senators. Who does she take? Her chief of staff. Do you know the chief of staff's name? No. Okay, Lee Hansen. Do you ever know? You still haven't heard of her? Okay. What about her director of communications? Like, do you realize that Shang has had 3 directors of communications the last year and a half? Okay. Including now Casey Pratt, who's out of a job, who's with Channel 7. She took her director of communications then, and then she took her project manager for Howard Terminal, and they look like women out of Vogue modeling rather than doing the work of maintaining the A's in Oakland. All right. And proceeded to insult the commissioner of baseball during the meeting and expect success. That was a situation. And I can name more and more and more that we were in. We needed to do this. We needed a change. So from the standpoint of those who wanted across the board change, is this a perfect outcome? By no means. But it is a signal. It is a signal. All right. So let's go through the other results. And let's go down to San Leandro here. And with, let's see here. Yeah. Hey, congratulations. With 100% of the precincts reporting, Brian Azevedo wins re-election, 52.2% to Ed Hernandez, 47.8%. Brian wins. Oh, that's outstanding. Maybe there's a chance we can get a hold of him. Let me see if we can get a hold of him real quick. I am very happy for my friend and client, Brian Azevedo. Let's see if we can get him. Brian, congratulations.
Yeah, well, it's not over yet. Hey, sorry I didn't call you back. I saw that I missed your call. I was thinking about calling you in a little bit, but a little bit earlier, but I was like, no, it's too late. But
that's cool. I got you on live, so I was wondering what's the next step, because you're like 50. Is it ranked choice voting?
No, it's not ranked choice voting, but we're up by 365 votes.
But
there's only 21% of the vote in. So there's still a lot of votes, and it's supposed to get up to like 80% of the vote. So there still could be a lot of votes left. So it's still close. But the good thing is we started out, we were only ahead by 245, and then they updated, and now we're up by 365. So it's growing instead of shrinking. That's good for now.
Hey, they have this at 45 or 45 precincts reported. Am I looking at the wrong page here?
Yeah, it says that, but it's wrong. You got to go up to where it says turnout, and it's going to say 21%.
Oh, I get you.
Counted 21% of the vote.
So what you're saying is that's update, but this is not. I'm
saying it's all updated, but it's not. There's still a lot of votes out there.
Oh, I get you. So
it's saying that at 45 out of 45, but you can't believe that.
Okay.
You got to go up to what the turnout is, and yeah, there's still a lot of votes because 50,000 people are going to vote, possibly.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, but well, fingers crossed, man.
Yeah.
I don't expect it to turn. I think you got this. I really do.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll talk later on, bro.
You got it, man. All right, enjoy. All right, see ya.
I'll give you a call tomorrow.
Okay, man.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
See ya. So hey, close race. He's ahead. Great guy. Deserves re-election. Really does. Brian Azevedo. An honor to help. What we did was digital media seeding, that sort of thing, content creation. Why? Because hey, there's no more mainstream media. There's no media out there. You have to create your media. You have to hire people and say, hey, I hire Zenny 62 Media to create our media for us. And they would say, yes, that's what they did. Boom. And we're a for-profit corporation. We're not non-profit. So it's all the way it should be done from a legal standpoint. Ding. All right. And then the other race that we're involved in, and that's Charlene Wang. And Charlene, running for at-large, she is, close. But let's see. Raina Brown is ahead, 29.13%. Lerone Armstrong, 28.34%. Charlene is at 20.55%. And we've got a healthy number. This is going to be interesting to see how this vote trading goes around. But basically, it's between Lerone and Rowena. And the question is, of them, which does Rowena get more from Charlene? I think she does, because at one point, Charlene was thinking about teaming with Rowena. All right. So we'll have to see what happens there. It was an honor, however, to do what we did for Charlene Wang and bring her to the one of the top three, out of nowhere, to one of the top three over Rowena Brown, who worked for Lauren Taylor and has a powerful union backing, and Lerone Armstrong, the chief of police. So not bad, Charlene. Not bad, and not bad, Zenny 62 Media. I wonder if there's Fabian Robinson. Maybe we can get over hold of Pastor Robinson. See if he has some thoughts he wants to share. And here's Pastor Robinson. Let's give him a call. Pastor Robinson, are you up? Are you up?
Yeah, I'm up. Why? What's up?
Oh, I was going to congratulate you on running and share your thoughts about the races that's coming out right now and everything. I'm on live, so I thought I'd give you a shout out, if that's okay. Yeah. What are your thoughts about the race?
My thoughts about the race?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, you gave it a good run, and let's talk another time. And
ain't that only the first? Ain't that only the first? What you call it? The first
run.
The first round, right?
It is, but the way these go, if you look at the numerical differences, the races.
You know what I'm saying, but so that's how many votes that we have for the whole thing.
There's a lot more to be counted. Mm-hmm. There's a lot more to be counted, but in terms of experience and proportion, it's generally between the top three. Now, the question is, how many votes Charlene gets from Rowena and Lerone going downstream, and versus how many they get from Charlene and the other candidates. The other candidates, when you think about the top three and number of votes, it decreases sharply. Now, yeah, there's still votes to be counted, but this is reporting 100 out of 100. However, if you look at the turnout and what's being counted, that turnout is lower. So there's still votes to be counted. But will that change things dramatically? From my experience, it will change things, but generally it always affects the top three. But when you start going to the fourth, unless they are all within about 400 or 500 votes from each other, if it's like 1,000 or something like that, then it's less likely you're going to break that hurdle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's it. But you give it another run, give it another shot.
Get all that off of
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I'm happy to put my 2 cents in on regarding the future and help you get it done again.
Okay, I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
All right. All right. Get some rest, my friend.
Thank you.
All right. See you. Well, the pastor's disappointed. I don't blame him. But and my friend just texted me. Hopefully, in our lifetime, an American woman will be president. Yeah, it is. That is very disappointing. Um, um, that is very disappointing. It's a very sad day for. Yeah, it's a very sad day. I think you don't want to. You don't want it to hit you, and then you kind of slow down and realize it does hit you. Um, this is the second time in our lifetime that a qualified female candidate for president lost, well, to Donald Trump. Yeah, it's almost like, here we go again, right? Yeah.
If you don't believe it, just wait.
But the other thing is, to me, and this gets to what my friend wrote, you have to wonder if it was a mistake to just push out Biden. Maybe there was something spiritually wrong with that. I think something like that has to be considered.
Yep, they put him out, so now we gotta suffer.
Yeah.
We have to suffer, and I asked the good Lord,
Yeah.
don't let me suffer.
Yeah. So.
I did not do that.
I was trying to reach out to a friend of mine, see if he wanted to come on for a comment. Catch him out of the blue. Haven't talked to him in a little bit. I'm not going to say the name. He's actually a very big name. But, it's a sad day. Yeah, it's a sad day. Oh, sure, Chai. Thank you for the $2. Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion twerking didn't work. I didn't see that. I think I didn't see that. So that caught me off guard. I don't think that was the reason. And again, I think it was Occam's razor. When all else fails, go for the simple reason. The simple reason is that, and I think Nathan just hit it right here. Nathan says, the problem was we on the left allowed others on the super left to push Biden out, which I knew would bite us in the end. Had Biden won, he would have stepped down and handed the presidency to Kamala. Yeah, and Nathan, I think you have a great point. I do think spiritually that wasn't right. But you want to be a good party soldier, and it's about getting business and everything else and all that. And you do what you got to do. But as a fan of Joe Biden, I wasn't comfortable with other friends of mine, like Van Jones. I want to openly push him out for the younger model. Sir Chai says, this is what Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion twerking did. He says, during the campaign, they used pop stars to twerk for votes. They even got Beyonce. Well, they didn't get Beyonce to twerk. I mean, that's not fair, Sir Chai. Come on, you're better. You're better than that. Because the Houston event was was great. It wasn't that at all. The simple fact of the matter is that, Donald Trump, there's a lot of involvement here that I'm not comfortable with. And this is what I'm getting at, all right? And all you have to do is go to the front of the Drudge Report to see what I'm talking about. And it says, world in shock. All right, look at this. This is the This is what Drudge Report has on its cover. This is what Matt Drudge has right now. You have to see this. Okay. World. See, it says it. World in shock.
No, I am.
Yeah.
I'm in shock.
I
don't know what they got themselves into.
It says
I don't have to do a lot of suffering behind it.
stock set to soar on election verdict. Bitcoin hits all-time high. Dollar jumps. Google curbs politics discussion among employees. McBride. See, this is what chills me too. Google was this close, and it's still very well may be close to an antitrust lawsuit that will put it out of business. Which, I hope not, because they do pay me. But now when Google could get its act together.
Is that going to affect Google that he?
It'll affect them in a positive way, yeah.
Okay.
Swift, so that's my pocketbook, folks. I just have to be blunt honest about it. That's my pocketbook. Swift campaign to cap population is dangerous. North Korean troops gun down Russian comrades shooting in wrong direction. What else? Abortion rights advocates win in 4 states but lose in Florida. White supremacists tried to bomb a power station with a drone. That was in Nashville. Americans who want out of USA, they're ready to leave. A record number apply for passports. Apple to face first EU fine under Digital Markets Act. Beijing scientists build real-life Death Star that can wipe out satellites. Conor McGregor did something inappropriate to a woman in a hotel penthouse. 1 in 5 in Americans do not think Hitler was all bad. Nazi takeover plot. No, this is stupid. Anyway, world in shock. Let's see what Matt is looking at here. He says world in shock. It's just, it's a flag. Close that one. And it leads to, early election takeaways by the AP. Trump weakens Democrats' coalition. AP race calls. AP called the race for Donald Trump. Even with the outcome uncertain, Tuesday night, the 2024 presidential election always exposed the depths of a fractured nation as the candidates navigated political shifts based on class, race, age, under the near constant threat of misinformation and violence. Early data suggests that Republican Donald Trump may benefit from some of the shifts more than Democrat Kamala Harris, and the Republican former president may have also benefited from frustrated voters on the economy. Yep. The biggest conclusions from the election so far, however, may be the most obvious. The United States is poised to elect either its first female president, Harris, or its first president with a felony conviction in President and former President Trump, whose enduring political strength through chaos, much of it his own making, has carried few political costs so far. With voting still being counted around the country, here are some early takeaways. With modest shifts, Trump weakens the Democratic coalition. Black voters, men and women, have been the bedrock of the Democratic Party, and Democrats have had a strong pull for Latino voters. It has been the same with young voters, but preliminary data from AP VoteCast, an expansive survey of more than 115,000 voters nationwide, suggested that the groups shifted in Trump's direction. Voters under age 30 represent a fraction of the total electorate, but about half of them supported Harris. That's compared to the roughly 60% that supported Biden in 2020. Slightly more than 4 in 10 young voters went for Trump, up from about 1/3 in 2020. You know where I think that was, folks? And I'm going to tell you, they're not mentioning this. I'll tell you where I believe this came from. All right. Oh, John asked me a question here. What do you think if the U.S. switched to popular vote instead of electoral college? A couple of presidential candidates had won popular vote and still lost. Yeah, but in this case, Trump got the popular vote as it looks, okay? But I'm going to tell you why I believe that 10% of what was Biden's favorable lead with young voters was taken away, and it had to do with women and the trans issue. And I don't care what anybody says, that flipped everybody. If it wasn't that, it was the Gaza issue, okay, and the Israel issue, with your best choice, and that was just stay out of it entirely, okay, period. But those issues were so divisive, and in a weird way, it made you literally question your own manhood. I'm just kidding, but no, there are other people who are like, wait a minute, I don't, and women in particular who play sports at a time when women's participation in sports is rising dramatically. Now you have it where someone who wasn't always a woman can compete against them. That's not right. You know it's not right, and I know it's not right. And yet so it became a campaign issue. And I will bet you that is a key reason why we're seeing what we see. So it's a very sobering day, but again, I believe, and I'll just say this: Occam's razor. If we just left Biden in there, we would have been okay. I really believe that. And I'm sad to say that about my friend Kamala Harris, who I love, got to the places that she got. It's inspirational. But then you have to sort of ask why we're here, and then you come back to the answers that I'm coming up with, and you're coming up with, and others are coming up with, and it just plain hurts. But you got to live on. You have to thrive. You have to go. You have to make it happen. So I say this to everybody: make it happen in your own life. Let your life's objectives be your personal electoral win, right? Because what else do we have? All right. So with that, folks, we've been on for 2 hours and 20 minutes. They say they're going through the numbers here, and everybody's wondering if Trump will reach 270 yet. God, I hope not. But you know what? Here's the thing. For my company, I have to stay on the straight and narrow because we're on the White House press list. We've been on the White House press list for every president going back to Obama. I'd like to keep it that way. So we need to make a lot more money we're making. We're on a great start. We got to keep it going. So, when Trump wins, when it's announced he's got it, all hail Mr. President, and we move forward on this matter of making sure that our country acts right. And for entrepreneurs like myself, that's what you got to do. You have to stay on the focus of running your ship. Running your ship. All right, now.
They drove the percentage reporting up, right? If your Harris trying to catch up before that gets to 9,900, the new votes just came in, helped Trump. 253,601 again in Michigan. This was a big win for Joe Biden in 2020, 154,000.
Let me see something.
It's a bigger win at the moment for Donald Trump, 253,000 votes in battleground Michigan.
Now, Trump hasn't won Michigan. He's saying he's ahead.
Wisconsin, we're at 91%. And Donald Trump is 120,000 votes ahead. That is 100,000 more votes than the side of the state of Wisconsin in both the last presidential elections. 22 in one, 20 in the other. It's 120, 549 at the moment. 91% in. So you look again. Is it possible for the Democratic votes out there? This is where they're missing the biggest basket. There's some good Trump circles here too. So if you look at that again, I'm not going to say impossible. We have a decision desk that does that work for me. For you, I'm going to say that's improbable. Just looking at the map, again, with the lead that big. Then we'll see how it plays out. I do want to show something. We're looking at Donald Trump above 50% nationally. You're looking at Donald Trump at the moment winning the popular vote, which he has not done in his prior two runs for the presidency, by 5.1.
First time he's done it. See, John, this gets to your statement, okay? This gets to this.
2020. That's sort of
All right.
up.
I mean, no, John McCullough was talking about. He said, "What do you think if U.S. switched to popular vote?"
These are states.
He got the popular vote.
Performing himself by 3% or more. It doesn't matter as much.
Got it.
You
Got it.
Get to some of these counties. So you look at these places. Jake, we talked about this earlier. New York, you were looking at that. All throughout New England.
My mom says she thinks it's racism. I have to be honest. I don't think it was racism this time.
Better than he did in 2024. But I want to look. Remember in the last
Trump
of the campaign?
stopped
Why isn't she with him? Why is he demeaning
the racist attacks on black folks and put a lot of black folks in commercials, reached out to people like Charlemagne the God. He literally altered his message. Okay, he really did. And I think that's a good thing moving forward. So I'm not gonna put that on him. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna put that on him.
He is overperforming in Republican areas. The big conversation has been, well, he got 2016, got more votes in 2020. A lot of Democrats saying there can't possibly be more Trump voters out there in rural America. Well, yeah, there are. He's over, smaller counties, Apache County here, only 6% in too. So more votes coming in from here. And then you come over here, Navajo County, and down here in the southern part of the state, Yuma County, 64% of the vote. Again, you think, oh boy, but that's double. That's almost double when you look at the raw vote count there. So how does he do it, right? So that's Arizona. You come up to Nevada. Again, it's not in Clark County. That's Vegas and the suburbs around it. But in these other places, that's the end of the campaign when everyone's obsessed about why is he only talking to his base? Well, he was talking to those people, and they turned out, and he overperformed in a lot of Republican counties. Most of the places he overperformed dramatically. This is by 3%. You'll see suburbs where that'll be something we're talking about in the days and weeks after too, by 1 point or 1.5 points. This is 3% or more, right? So when you look at this, don't think about California yet. Let the votes be counted.
These are all the counties where he overperformed by 3% or more.
Over his 2020 number by 3% or more. And right now we're over 1,000 counties and townships, mostly up here in New England, but in other places too, they use the word townships, not counties. So they're not trying to. If you live in a township, don't take my county. But there are 4,600 counties and townships, and in more than 1,000 of them, he has overperformed. But the thing is, they're mostly red. There are some blue.
Yeah, Hillary did win the popular vote. So that's what I'm saying. This is the first time Donald's got it. Not
looking at that, they're not, because he's increasing.
If this holds,
he's up over 2016, up over 2020, and now up over 2024. So you come in here and you look, and it includes Bucks County, very significant, close in there, and these other counties out here that Donald Trump likely wins anyway. So let's just bring this out now and come back to the real world.
Can I just make one more note about Bucks County? Can you bring us back to Bucks County?
Absolutely.
That was an area where Kamala Harris made a big play, even though it's a county that Donald Trump, that Joe Biden won. She made a big play there. She did an event with Liz Cheney there. She made a real pitch to the Haley voters you talked about. Let's check in with Pamela Brown at the voting desk with an update on the ballots left to be counted in Pennsylvania. Pamela?
All right, I'm getting some information for both Philadelphia and Bucks County, that Collar County right outside of Philadelphia, that right now Trump is slightly ahead. Let's talk about Philadelphia soon. We were just talking about the fact that 6,000 mail-in ballots came in there. I'm told by an official there in Philly that maximum left for mail-in ballots, the outstanding mail-in ballots is 31,000. But this official says, look, there's going to be some issues with some of these. The signatures don't match up and so forth, and it's too late for them to be cured. So that's the max amount. Let's turn it over now to Bucks County. Again, this is a county that Biden won in 2020. It's typically a blue-leaning county just outside of Philly. I'm told by an official there are 56,000 mail-in ballots left to count out of 140,000 mail-in ballots cast there overall. And they're still waiting for 41 out of 304 precincts to report the results of in-person Election Day votes as well. I should note these counties across Pennsylvania, including Bucks, including Philadelphia, they're going to be continuously counting there until every mail-in ballot is counted. That's per the law there. Jake?
All right, Pamela, thanks so much. Appreciate it. I'm sorry to interrupt. Take me back to the places where Donald Trump is overperforming. Are there any places where Kamala Harris overperformed from where Biden did?
I'll show you that in just 1 second. I just want to put a button on what Pam was just talking about in the sense that, so there's votes out there. Maybe Kamala Harris comes back, and that's close.
He's up by 11,000.
So maybe she comes back, but again, you're talking about the margins, right? He's winning by 4. Right? If she comes back and beats him, it's going to be 50-50, 51 right there. Again, underperforming the president in places. So you asked, are there any places that the vice president is overperforming Joe Biden in 2020? So we can show you that as well. We just bring that out here. Harris overperforming 2020.
Holy smokes.
There you go. So let this go away and see if there's anything on the east side there.
Literally nothing?
Literally nothing.
Literally not one county?
By 3% or more. At least in the county right now. And so you come in full county there. So there you see, but that's states, yeah. So in counties, in 58 counties. We just showed Donald Trump was over 1,000 counties of the 4,600 counties and townships across America. So if you do the full county level, there's where you see Harris at the moment. Again, there might be more out here in the West Coast, possible 1 or 2 more as they finish the count here. But in the states that matter, again, I just showed you all those Trump counties. In one county, in battleground Pennsylvania, she's outperforming President Biden by 3% or more.
There were Biden stalwarts who argued that kicking him out of the nomination was a mistake. Now, I don't know that I buy that because I don't know that the Joe Biden of 2024 is the Joe Biden of 2020. But what do you think?
I think that, well, so let's come out of this map to have this conversation just to show where we are at the moment in this race. Let's turn this off here as well. After the debate, all of the energy collapsed. The debate you moderated with Dana, the Biden-Trump debate, the air came out of the Democratic balloon. Joe Biden was going to get blown out.
So you think it would have been worse because Minnesota and Virginia, New Mexico, Colorado, those would have been.
Would the Democrats have lost those in the end? I don't know the answer to that, but all the Democrats would have broken with the president. It would have caused amazing dissonance in the Democratic Party. Donors were not going to give money. And again, I don't want to be disrespectful to the president of the United States, but have you seen anything? The vice president of the United States looks like she's about to lose the presidential election. She was campaigning vigorously from the second she got the nomination up until the votes counting today. Is there any evidence on the table that the president of the United States could do half of what she did?
No.
A third of what she did. I mean,
No.
you could go week on. I don't want
I agree.
to be mean to the president of the United States.
No, and we saw over the last week him calling Trump supporters garbage, et cetera. Like
I can tell you from my first trip 15 months ago, people were saying, "Where's the president?" I think one of the legacy conversations about this election is not just going to be the switch from Biden, but the 2 years before that.
Yeah.
You would travel and people would say, "Where's the president?" He was invisible because he couldn't do events and he wasn't talking about his record and his agenda and trying to explain that cost of living stuff, trying to explain that, yeah, it sucks in a lot of places, but look around the world, the United States is actually doing better than most advanced economies. He was missing.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot said and told about that. Let's check in with Caitlin Collins, who's at Trump's headquarters, ahead of remarks that were expected by the former president. Caitlin?
Yeah, Jake, just to give you a reality check of where the Trump campaign has been watching this election day play out, they woke up confident this morning that ultimately their candidate was going to win, that Donald Trump would win this race. But when I was talking to them about what they thought the next few days were going to look like, one, they thought that this would go on for several days. They did not think that the numbers would be as generous as they are, as what the numbers have been coming in, as they have been reported. And they also had counseled Donald Trump that there would likely not be any kind of decision within the next 24 hours or so. Donald Trump himself was frustrated about that and was saying that he wanted to know what the outcome of this race was going to be tonight. And he said, Kristen, that he had not prepared a speech. And obviously, we are seeing now the Trump campaign in real time, as we've been talking to them, are adjusting to what they've been watching play out over the last 3 or 4 hours or so.
Yeah, he's feeling really good. I talked to a number of people who were with him who said that he is ecstatic. That they had already said that they thought he was in a different headspace than we went into 2020 when he was angry. He was watching those results come in. But as you said, he still couldn't understand why they weren't going to get the results tonight. Now, obviously, we're seeing a lot more of these states being called right now than even his own team anticipated. I was told that they were looking very carefully at Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, and they thought that maybe they'd have some idea by tomorrow what those results would look like. But as we're seeing those results coming in, there's so much more of that vote counted in these states than they even anticipated. So clearly that shifted their entire mentality around this. Donald Trump coming here and getting ready to speak.
Well, and so Donald Trump is in the building right now. I should know. We're waiting to hear from him. He has made his way over from Mar-a-Lago, about a 10-minute drive away. And you just think of, I was there at Trump's victory party in 2016 when he first won. and the entire room was shell shocked after he won Florida that he had actually won that election. He himself was stunned by winning, and it was kind of a surreal moment to see Trump and his family on stage as he was speaking. Then, of course, we all know what happened 4 years ago when he came out and spoke and declared victory that was not his and never would become his, which belonged to Joe Biden. And so I think the question for a lot of people watching now is what he is going to say tonight as he's going to come out. And the race has obviously not been called yet. What he's going to say when he gets on stage after seeing the numbers that are better than even they were expecting this morning.
Yeah, and we know that their team had not spent a lot of time coming up with any drafts for him. They were going to let Donald Trump speak off the cuff, but they were trying to come up with scenarios in which Donald Trump would not come out early. The difference between now and 2020 is that their internal polling was showing them a lot of these kind of numbers. Maybe not exactly, obviously, as you said, they were really surprised by how generous some of the numbers were, but they did believe they had a real
I think what happened was that my mother was asking. I think what happened, it's a subtle thing, but frankly, Donald Trump changed himself because first, there were a lot of black folks in his commercials. He began not flaming us, even if he was making fun of other people. They had Latinos for Trump. And even though the mainstream media made fun of it, they made a serious effort to take away the Democrats' black advantage just, by pointing out, by being inclusive.
He's so morally wrong. That's why
I agree with you, but you asked me a question, but you got to figure out. I mean, the one thing you have to figure out is the simple fact that not as many of us voted for him as before, and that's documented. That's right here.
Well, the country's going in a bad direction.
Well, we're all just like when I was talking earlier. I think I was saying how we're all splintering apart as black folks. We all have some different, and why where we're going is.
Well, it's not just the black vote.
Well, that's what the sheriff was saying. He's saying it's not just us; it's everybody.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about just black folks.
But I think Trump did a number of things. Like, for example, did that whole assassination attempt thing. I hate to say it, but I always kind of thought, okay, all right. The bottom line is Donald Trump clearly knew he had two choices, Mom. You either win this thing and get a second chance at a political life, or you lose it and face the very real prospect of going to jail. It's like, which is it? It's either this or that. And he fought like hell to make sure that he wasn't seeing the inside of a jail cell. I mean, they pull out a lot of tricks, folks. I mean, a ton. So they fought like their lives depended on it. No Nut said, not even Taylor Swift could save Kamala Harris. Then again, her songs did prove that she has a history of choosing the wrong ones. That's a bad joke. But, I'll challenge you there. I'll bet you if Taylor Swift had made an appearance with Kamala Harris, it would have made a difference. Now they're projecting that Donald Trump is winning Pennsylvania. He's at 265, 270 needed to win. He's just 5 off.
In the spitting distance of 270 electoral votes. He has 265 electoral votes. Vice President Kamala Harris has 187 electoral votes. 270 are needed to win. John King, Donald Trump is within a hair's breadth of being reelected president.
Yes, he is. And let's just walk over. We'll look at where we are now, 265 to 187. And you're looking at this map. He's leading here.
We are going to hell in a sack.
Congressional vote there. There's another one at Maine he could possibly get. But if you just look out here, he is almost certain to get this. The state of Alaska. To put a Democrat forever, that would get him to 268. So you're at the point right now, Jake, we're picking, right?
Yeah.
Just pick it. There's one congressional, he could possibly win both in Nebraska. That would get him to 270, assuming he wins Alaska, which I think is a pretty safe bet.
Then
you just look at the map, right? Unlikely to get any of these over here. He could possibly get an electoral vote out of Maine, but he's leading.
I am
here,
more
leading
optimistic
here, leading here and leading there
because it means that something has to be figured out.
If he gets that one,
I don't know. I refuse to lose. Okay.
And that one.
I refuse.
Way up. And if he
No,
only-
you
he
make
only
the money. I
needs-
just made money. So I mean, I don't
Now
want to
that's
have
where
this
he was,
discussion on live
you know,
stream.
when
I
he
want
won,
to
he
think
was at
positive.
304, 306. That would be
I'm
310.
sorry.
310
I'm
if
not
he
giving
sweeps.
up.
There's no guarantee he's going to sweep by any means, but he's leading in enough states right now. Plus, there's a couple other congressional districts on the board where he could pass. He could emphasis on could pass 310 electoral votes. You come back to where we are now, though. He's just in a commanding position, and then let's do the math the other way, okay? Which is what gets interesting, right? This is now red in our count. There we go. That gets Donald Trump there. Here's the challenge when you do the math the other way.
Democrats ain't gonna win.
Well, let him finish
Assume
though.
that stays for the Republican. Let's just, for the sake of argument, big comeback for the Democrat. Big comeback for the Democrat. Democrat holds New Mexico, holds Minnesota. Excuse me for that one. Wins Wisconsin. Wins Michigan. See this count?
Yep, 239. Yeah, I do.
It's New Jersey.
Ooh.
There's Connecticut.
Oh.
There's New Hampshire.
Whoa.
Pop it out. What do you want to pick? You want to go state? Well, you can even go statewide. It's not going to happen, but let's stay statewide. All right, you do all the Maine, you come back out, and they get you.
You tied.
Right? So it comes down to this: if she wins everything, if she wins
Wait. California's already counted.
Pennsylvania is what makes Donald Trump. Again, we're not done until we're done, but Pennsylvania, in every path she had, any reasonable, plausible path to 270, included the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania for the Vice President of the United States. So you get to a place now where, as you come back over here, you're just looking at this map and you're saying, is she going to win Alaska? No one's going to Vegas on that one. So where is she in any of these? Do you start coming back? Is there any way to come back? 73% of the vote. It's 266,000 votes. Again, let's just look at the live outstanding vote. Move this up so you can see it better. Yes, the outstanding vote in Michigan is disproportionately Democratic, but there are a fair amount. See those big red circles? Fair amount of Republican votes out there. We have a 266,000 vote lead and a map that looks like that of what votes out. Again, I don't do impossibles, but I do improbables, and that's improbable. You come over here to Wisconsin, again, 119,000 votes ahead. That's come down a little tiny bit. It has, but it's a state won by 22,000 votes in the last two elections. And Donald Trump is ahead at the moment by 119,000 votes. And so again, you're looking at what's left. You're at 92%. Sure, the biggest is here, but look at those. Those are modest circles for Republican votes as well. Essentially, in chess, she's blocked. Donald Trump's not across the line yet because we have more states to go through, but she is essentially blocked from getting to 270.
All right, stand by for a projection because CNN can now project that Kamala Harris will get that one electoral vote from Omaha. Nebraska gives its electoral votes according to congressional district. Kamala Harris will get one of them. Donald Trump will get another one of them. Of the five, let's look at the electoral map. Donald Trump now has 266 electoral votes because we just gave him one from Nebraska's, I think, first congressional district. Kamala Harris has 188 because we just gave her one from Nebraska's second
the Vice
congressional
President.
district. 270 are needed to win.
running mate?
Donald Trump needs only 4 more electoral votes in order to be the president. Dana?
If he wins, somebody's gonna kill him.
I mean, Pennsylvania.
God, I hope
you
not.
look at those numbers, 266, 4 more. And you just saw the math that John did, the path that the different paths that he put out there for Donald Trump and that for Kamala Harris. And
I'm so
again,
proud.
we're not.
I mean, that map of where she did not perform, the completely grayed out map where she never overperformed Biden more than 3%. That's just rough.
I think there are two stories here. One is the burden that she faced, and to go back to the very beginning of the night when we did the right track, wrong track. 26% of the country thinks that the nation is in the right track. 72% think they're in the wrong track.
That's it.
When it came to the performance of Joe Biden,
Right.
it was 41% to approve to 58% disapprove. So she had an enormous burden, and people are unhappy with the way the Biden-Harris administration has run this country for the last 4 years, and she did not succeed. I'm not sure it was possible for her to succeed in somehow positioning herself as an agent of change and distancing herself from Biden. There's another part of the story that we got to talk about, which is Donald Trump. The fact is that when you go back to January 6th of 2021 to today, it is an extraordinary comeback. He was a pariah when he left town on January 20th.
Oh, yeah, right him out on a rail.
Even go to the inauguration. There was the vast majority of members of his own party wouldn't be seen with him. He, over the course of the 4 years, he proceeds to win himself back into the party, declares right after the tremendous defeat of the Republicans, there was certainly an unsuccessful showing in the midterms in 2022, wins a contested primary, and this is his party. This is these voters.
Not just his party.
What?
It's not just his party now, and that.
No, it's his country.
I mean, we have to be careful. We haven't called it yet, but Pennsylvania makes it extremely
hard not
tough for
to.
Kamala Harris, and that's one of the things. I mean, the Trump side of this, one of the most extraordinary dynamics that we didn't necessarily see coming was that there still was a hidden Trump vote. Everybody even those who are big supporters of Donald Trump would tell me, well, now they're loud and proud. People who are MAGA are very open about it, and so on and so forth. Except if you look at just these exit polls across these states and then nationally, there are so many pockets of formerly Democratic sort of coalition voters who have moved in an extraordinary way. I mean, Latino men.
Yeah.
An 18-point swing.
Yeah.
For
That's
Donald Trump.
crazy.
He got 18 percentage points more among Latino men than he did in 2020.
Also, the campaign made this concerted effort to go after the never Trump vote, being out there campaigning alongside Liz Cheney, talking about having Republicans in the cabinet. It seems like that did not move people, that is still in some ways the never Trump community is kind of a homeless community, and it didn't help Democrats in this conversation in really any of these states. You don't get the sense that there was this vast, as you said, hidden vote that somehow pollsters missed or that people voted in secret. That kind of conversation, it just looks like it didn't happen.
The fact is that the Trump campaign identified what the majority of Americans, and it appeared that for the first time he is going to win the popular vote in addition to the electoral vote, what they cared about. What they cared about is the fact that a box of cereal costs $9, that with Southern Republican governors shipping illegal immigrants north, that the whole migration issue has become a national issue, that you feel it in New York and Illinois and a bunch of northern states. The transgender issue was this version of the cultural wars, and people were surprised at the fact that he spent more money on the transgender issue than he did on the economy or immigration in terms of advertising, and it obviously seemed
worked.
to work like gangbusters. So
It
he really
worked.
identified what the concerns of the
We're not
majority of Americans
talking about it. We're getting
was,
bombarded with those commercials. Remember that?
and
I mean, like,
she faced
like
this overwhelming burden.
torture. Oh, enough. You know.
Now after 4 years
But
of Biden and Harris.
they're essentially right. I think that really changed a lot of things.
2024, Anderson is the manosphere, and we're all living in the manosphere now.
Dana, let's talk about some of, mistakes that were made, things that weren't looked at, or, obviously there's going to be a lot of finger pointing. There's going to be a lot of navel gazing. What stands out to you?
Listen, I'm still convinced that Kamala Harris performed better than Joe Biden would have tonight. I just think that there were so many of us, even those of us who didn't like Donald Trump, who after the debate performance couldn't in good conscience vote for Joe Biden for 4 more years. But there were tremendous headwinds here. I think there was a misreading, and I'm guilty of this to some degree, of a lot of people don't like Donald Trump, the man, but they felt better when he was in office. That's just the fact. It's the border. It's feelings around crime, feelings around the economy. And I think there was this very powerful ad, the Republican Jewish Coalition, that was all over the airwaves. A bunch of women sitting around, Jewish women, just like, I can't stand him, but I felt like we were supporting Israel and we were stronger and we were tougher. And I think that resonates with people.
Yeah.
Look, I don't want to engage in an autopsy prematurely, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of discussion, not just about what happened in this campaign, but about when parties lose, it's an occasion for evaluation, and I think the evaluation is necessary.
Do you think the Democratic Party will do that?
I think I think it will do that, and it should do that. And I said, I mean, as I was saying to you guys before, I mean, I appreciate the Democratic Party because I think it believes in the use of institutions to help lift people up, and that we're a better country when you do. But the Democratic Party has become more of a suburban, college-educated, professional party, and it still feels allegiance to working people, and it still tries to fight for working people, but it approaches working people like missionaries, like Margaret Mead would approach the natives, and they come and the Democrats say, we want to help you become more like us. And the implication is that somehow if you work with your hands or work with your back, that you're less.
Dana won! Yay! Oh, no, she didn't. Doggone it.
Make our country go. And they deserve respect and dignity. Everybody deserves that. I think Kamala Harris tried to express that in this campaign, but it has to be more of an exercise over 90 days of a campaign. It has to be a really.
That was shocking.
I mean,
Yeah.
we talk about you talk, Van, about solar panels.
Well, that's because that's why he won.
A
lot of
I don't
Republican
even understand how people
Latinos.
Question
A lot of
that we
Latinos
need
in
to do
Nevada are
something about
Republican.
climate change,
A
given the
shocking number.
catastrophes that are besetting us
I'll give you an
now.
example.
That said, if you make your
Brian
living
Sandoval, the
extracting,
governor
fossil
that I
fuels
met
and old
when we were in
energy
Las Vegas,
from the ground,
and I
you
got
make good
invited to the
middle
Raiders
class living
sponsor
that
party.
way,
You
have
weren't
to
with me
give
that time, but I
job,
met
and
Brian
people
Sandoval.
come to you and say, for the good of humanity,
Heck of a nice guy.
you're gonna have to give up your
Latino,
good middle class
Republican.
job.
Probably one of the best
That
governors in
obviously
Nevada's
doesn't sit
history.
well. There needs to be an honest
He gave way
discussion
to
about that. I think the Democratic Party
Steve
has to-
Sisolak, who was a Democrat, lasted one term.
Push one of your hot buttons.
He gave way to Lombardo, who's another Democrat who's white, another Republican who's white. But no, Brian Sandoval represents,
Kamala Harris,
I think, about
completely overperformed expectations. I think she handled herself.
Latino
with a lot
history
of
in Nevada
grace.
is
I think she did.
a Republican
I think
history.
She probably turned in one of the great debate performances.
Yep.
That we've seen, to the point where now, the guy who appears to be the president-elect, Donald Trump, didn't want to debate her again. And I think she tried to appeal to the better angels of people's nature. And so I'm not
I was just gonna say, it was this moment that I realized America just elected the guy who said they're eating the cats and they're eating the dogs. So I'm just taking a moment to take that in. The Go fan.
Yeah, look, I think Kamala Harris had to do two things. She had to introduce herself and disqualify Donald Trump. She tried to do that by saying that she was on the economy for the people, middle class, contrasting his kind of rich as hell kind of thing. She tried to do that. The border's an issue. She tried to be tough on the border and accused Trump of playing politics on the border. And she thought abortion was going to really make it work for her. She just got beat by, her own words.
Her own words from 2019. And also
more recent ones as well. If you look at Trump's ads, Bidenomics is working. Whoever came up with Bidenomics needs to be put in the corner someplace. So then, because she doesn't separate herself, then she says, not a thing comes to mind. So she doesn't separate herself from Biden, and then the whole transgender thing. So the ads just beat her to death on tying her to the economy, tying her to Biden, and tying her to weird stuff. And so there was really never a great response. And then to your point, the ad that came out that was beating Kamala up around fear about Israel not being protected. There was never a response from the campaign on that, which I thought was a big mistake. Amanda Berman from Zioness had to raise money on her own ads trying to fight back alone. That didn't work. So, but listen, you tied her to the economy, you tied her to Biden, you tied her to weird. It was not a good.
I agree with everything you're saying. I just didn't want to engage in the autopsy before she has even before we've called the race, that before she dropped out. But one thing on that, the answer on I can't think of anything offhand about where she would differ with Biden was disastrous, and there's no doubt about it. The question is what motivated it, and whether she just felt she did not want to.
Loyalty.
Yes, loyalty. And so she should have just said, look, I'm grateful to him.
Yeah,
You
so-
know, I'm proud of
Yeah.
some of the many things we did together. And I'm not going to critique him. I'm talking about the future would have been a better answer. But you know, it's easy to be on the sidelines.
I think, look, you can critique whether she's the correct messenger or not. I think the message, right? When you're selling a product the Americans don't want to buy, doesn't matter who the messenger is. So I think the Democratic Party needs to sit back, talk about navel gazing, sit back and think, what we're selling, what are the American people looking to buy, right? You know, maybe it's not Green New Deal. Maybe people like driving. Listen,
I'm just telling you, you guys can get 330,000 Canadian jobs that people are still thinking about.
I guess it's pretty good. But there's something to put when you look at that counties that she won by 3%, and there's not one of them in America. There's not one that there's a blank map.
Yeah.
There's something the Republicans are selling, the people want.
We are.
And the Democrats don't.
We're waiting
Not selling.
Donald Trump's remarks at any moment as he's on the cusp of reaching the 270 electoral votes he needs to return to the White House. We'll hear from him ahead.
He's going to be president of the United States. Oh, Lord, what a shame. That's a shame. That's a fucking shame. That's what that is. It ain't going to affect us one way or the other. So we're not in the mainstream. I don't think for me things will get any worse than they are. I'll still get my pension. And all I want you to do is to be able to make some money. So it doesn't matter one way or the other with you.
As concerns for the environment grow and societies become more digitalized, NGK Insulators have created groundbreaking ceramic products for a sustainable and connected future.
Hey, folks, Daniel Lurie, I'm going over the mayoral elections.
Imagine going from this to
Neither
this
did
in
I,
your
Al.
kitchen, from this to this in your bathroom, or from this to
Yeah, it
this
looks
in
like
your outdoor space.
we'll
Now
see,
you
but
can.
if you remember
All new horsepower scrubber. It's cordless, rechargeable,
back in
waterproof, and it cleans faster and easier,
2012,
guaranteed. Watch,
right
it's
here,
got oven grease is no match. It blasts
see if I
away
can find
dirt
that
and
real quick.
grime in no time. The power comes from our rotating brushes,
here.
spinning up to 350
San Francisco
RPM.
won the bid to host the 2016 Super Bowl.
Mildew, mold, and more. And if you have glass,
Let me show you
it
that.
removes soap scum just like that. After scrubbing this
SF Super
toilet by
Bowl.
hand, we discovered a disgusting mess. Now watch the deep cleaning action of horsepower. It does all the work for you. That's horsepower cleaning.
62.
It's 100% waterproof. If you're power scrubbing indoors around water, like tubs, the toilets, or go outside, the weather can absolutely punish all your stuff out here. Like this table, horsepower to the rescue. All kinds of stains just disappear like that.
Get your horsepower scrubber with bonus scouring sponge for just $39.99. It's even rechargeable. But wait, you'll also get.
Okay. There's Donald Trump.
And former President Donald Trump, there you see him on the stage. Let's listen to this.
Oh, she lightened her hair.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know who she was. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my goodness.
That you hear is my mom reacting to the Trump family taking the stage yet again. So, you know. But while they're coming on, folks, something I want to share. I'm going to slow that down for 1 second because, folks, you see this video on here? That man, I'm going to play this for you because something interesting just happened. And I will play it for you right now. You'll say, who is this guy? And I'm going to say to you, unless the ranked choice vote goes differently, you're going to be hearing a lot from this guy. Here we go. Okay. That man, Daniel Lurie, won the bid to bring the Super Bowl to San Francisco. I was interviewing him here during the 2016 Super Bowl. He is now, unless the ranked choice votes go differently, the mayor of San Francisco. How about that? He is ahead of London Breed by just a few thousand votes. They're going to do the ranked choice vote counting. He's got 29% of the first choice votes. We'll see what happens, but if all goes according to how it looks like it's going to go, Daniel Leary will be the next mayor of San Francisco. Congratulations, Dan. And folks, on that, I'm going to end this stream. I want everybody to thank everybody for sticking with Zenny 62 Media, helping make this growing success. Our revenues are coming back finally. What was once a long way to go is now a shorter way to go. And this has been a great political campaign for us. I'll be back. All right. We'll see you, folks. And remember, stay involved in politics. And just because you won doesn't mean you lost. And just because you lost doesn't mean you won. Think about it. All right.